Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Wrestling is Cool podcast, the coolest wrestling podcast on the planet. I'm Santi, that's Sancho. And Sancho, I think I have a new favorite act in the WWE by one named Solo Dolo Sikoa. I cannot believe that we are in a timeline where Solo Sikoa, one, is a fan favorite, and two, I'm excited to see Solo Sikoa in the opening segment of Monday Night Raw and in the main event of Monday Night Raw and seeing him in a segment here or there backstage on Monday Night Raw. I want more Solo Dolo in my life. Now, before we dive talking about Solo Sikoa, doesn't it make you wonder, just in general, how many people WWE maybe has mistypecasted? Like, is Omos like maybe like a hilarious dude and he's just typecasted as like the tall Nigerian giant that barely speaks and is just scary? Is maybe I don't know, maybe Julia is a good old funny lighthearted person and they try to make her into this like brooding badass, and maybe she has more wings to express herself as a personality that WWE isn't letting her express herself as. I'm always curious about that because Solo, it's so clear he is so much more natural at this than at the I'm the brooding bouncer of the bloodline. It just makes you wonder how many people right now in the WWE are being asked to be one thing, where if they were allowed to be something else, they would be infinitely better. That's just something that's been kind of rattling around my brain because this Solo just doesn't, this isn't something that was manufactured. You can tell this is just him. You can go back to his freaking tweets where he's complaining about math back in like 2016 or whatever it was. Those tweets where he's like, oh, I hate math. Math is stupid type of tweets that he was doing. You can tell that this is a guy that grew up busting balls with his brothers, you know, making jokes, messing around. And now he's like being able to be that guy and he's absolutely flourishing. So how many people are being mistypecasted in WWE, man? Makes you wonder.
It does make me wonder. It kind of reminds me of Madden. You know, when you see that stat and then you put him in another position and all of a sudden the rating goes up, like, wait a minute.
Wait a second.
This guy. Oh, who's playing this guy at wide receiver? Put him at running back.
Yeah.
Let me give him that little sweep action. You know what I mean? Let me get him that ball. Look, Santi, who has been a member of the Glaze Factory for a long time, sir? We had LA Knight. We got Raquel Rodriguez IC title. And the man that you just mentioned, Solo Sikoa. And let me state the record, Santi, you hated this man. You hated this man because, in your eyes, he's been miscast, which is true. I've always said that Solo, trying to be the Tribal Chief 2.0, a brooding, menacing MFT leader, was going to struggle because there's just not that much ceiling for him. You capped him at a really low ceiling because this man, he's a peacock. Let him fly. Let him do what he's thinking. But now, Santi, I do believe he's going to be okay. I don't think this is the end of babyface Sikoa. I tweeted this out at the very end of Monday Night Raw, which you now see that you unblocked me. That I do believe that the WWE is setting up another Sammy Uso type of situation, sir.
Before we dive into that, because that's our main topic of today.
A lot of diving here.
Yeah, dude. A swan dive into the greatest night of your life. Do you remember that commercial? The Old Spice commercial?
Old Spice?
Oh, I'm on a horse. No? Ooh. You don't remember that guy? The I'm on a horse
guy? I remember that guy, of course.
Yeah. There was a line. He's just like, swan dive into the greatest night of your life. That's what we're about to do in this episode.
I've been sponsored by Old Spice before. I've done a show. I hosted a show with a comedian, and we did a thing with Sushi Dragon. Sushi Dragon's crazy, by the way. Sushi Dragon is one of the most eccentric content creators I've ever seen, especially a live streamer. But I remember I had a big nose mask, like a family Double Dare Nickelodeon nose. That you could smell.
The Triple H mask.
The game.
The game. Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. Speaking of Triple H.
Okay.
Talk about miscast. Showed up as the Royal Blood.
Yeah.
The Hunter Hearst Helmsley, right? Started doing that thing. And what did it take for him to break out of that mold? DX.
Dude, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Hey, this guy that's amazing at talking, ringmaster. You don't even get to say a word. You just stand there. Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Ted DiBiase, right?
Yeah.
You're that guy for a long time. Who had that thing? The Rock with the Nation Domination, Rocky Maivia,
Yeah.
Hooper maybe babyface, so went to the Nation Domination. That's why I kind of have that solo kind of that vibe from him that he's joining the bloodline, but he's gonna break out like The Rock did a Nation Domination. Mark Henry, from where he was to Sexual Chocolate to the pain guy. If I'm finally, I'm glad that he got out of Sexual Chocolate because that was a miscast.
I think that's I feel like that was just an experimentation. I don't know, because I feel like miscast is like, we think you'll be better at this and we want to keep you as this. And we don't even want to explore your range. I feel like with Sexual Chocolate, that was more exploring range. Like, hey, can you be a comedic character? Can you try this? Can you live in the world of the ridiculous, being the scariest, strongest man in the world? Oh, it didn't work. Let's go back to, being the world's strongest man. But like, I feel like Stone Cold specifically, like, to not understand that you had one of the best talkers in the business, and dude, it's like when they made Deadpool Ryan Reynolds mute in X-Men Origins. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? That's what I mean by miscast.
To be fair, it was ECW that got Stone Cold out of that mold. They gave him the baton in for him, and then all of a sudden that maturated in WWE. I mean, you can't kind of put Cody as miscast because if you look at it, Goldust, Stardust, I like Stardust. It was going somewhere, but it killed Cody. Cody hated it. But for him to kind of get that cold turn to Diamond, he had to go through that stage of his life where he found out what he really was. And the American Nightmare was birthed from that. I want to keep that in the back of my head of other people that were miscast, because it is a fascinating topic. And I think, I don't know, it's like different tracks, different planes. Like some people would just evolve to their prime version, and some people need that opportunity too. And I think for the solo, I think he took those 2 weeks of him cutting promos as that, go do what you got to do because you're going to go back to the family anyway. And I think he was able to surprise a lot of people, but that's for later in the conversation.
Yeah, well, folks, welcome to the Wrestling is Cool podcast, coolest wrestling podcast on the planet. You could, of course, be getting this podcast 3 days earlier, ad-free, earlier than everywhere else on the planet, over on patreon.com/SantiZap. Over there, you get the Raw reviews, SmackDown reviews, the podcast early, all the match watch-alongs. We're doing the watch-along of every single NXT TakeOver main event. We're in the peak of it, brother. We're in the Gargano Ciampa era. We just watched NXT TakeOver Chicago 2, their street fight. Fantastic match. It was in my top 5. Their 2 matches are in my top 5. Sancho, you are watching and ranking every Elimination Chamber. Where are you at right now?
I just watched I'm in 2015. I watched the Tag Team Chamber, not bad. And I watched the IC Chamber again because Ryback was in it. And I got to say, Ryback made that chamber, but still, it's a bad chamber.
It's a bad era, man, for the chamber. That's a bad stretch.
I'm waiting for it to get from the great, when it goes to the great to the mat. I think when it gets to the mat, I think things will be a little bit better.
Yeah. But yeah, all of those series are available in their entireties, including the completed series over on patreon.com/SantiZap. $5. We're well north of 1,000 hours worth of content on the Patreon, so definitely go check it out. Hundreds of videos that are evergreen that you can watch at any moment. Sure, just try once. Join once. See what it's like. Look at the comments section and don't get scared. Make a gimmick. Make a gimmick. Why not? But yeah, aside from the Raw reviews and SmackDown reviews and the PLE reviews, all of it is evergreen, and we upload a ton. So go check it out. $5 gets you all of the content that we do. But Sancho, let's talk about Solo Sikoa, because I think you and I are on the same boat. I didn't really consider the honorary Uso angle with Sami Zayn, but I think you're onto something. I think you and I are on the same brain track. I'm more leaning towards the Rock and Nation of Domination, where he's, because the honorary Uso was trying anything and everything to fit in. I think he's going to be doing anything and everything to fit out. I think he's going to be laughing, making jokes, belittling. He's the class clown. I think he's going to get reamed out by Roman. There's going to be moments in promos where he's going to be laughing in the background and Roman turns around. What's so funny? And we're going to have those moments like that. I think he's going to be the character that makes the Bloodline must watch for the rest of the year. The Bloodline is the Bloodline, right? You pay attention because it's the Bloodline, but sometimes they can get a little bit stale. But I think adding Solo Sikoa in here, I think is actually going to do the opposite of what it did for Jacob Fatu, because I feel like for Jacob Fatu, it did put him in a box and it did kind of hide him.
It throttled him.
Yeah, but I think Solo Sikoa being surrounded by so many serious characters, it's actually going to amplify the magic of his character. I think him being surrounded by the serious men, which is like a character trope, it's going to amplify his comedic timing, his facial expressions, his laughs, his jokes, all of that stuff. I feel is going to be amplified. Not only that, but it's also going to, by default, get more eyeballs because it's now going to be perennially in the main event conversation, right? Mm-hmm. Whenever Roman Reigns is there, Solo Sikoa is going to be there. And you're going to be, and I have a feeling, dude, that with full bloodline segments, yes, of course, Roman is Roman, but everyone is going to have eyeballs on Solo. What are his mannerisms like when the tribal chief is talking? Like what is happening in the background? You're going to start paying attention to that a lot more than just the words coming out of Roman's mouth. And I think it's ultimately going to be an amazing thing for Solo Sikoa and for the bloodline. This is one of those situations, and I hope you guys know, longtime viewers know, that I hate this saying, the let Papa H cook thing. I always say, if something's trash right off the get-go, call it out. I don't think this is trash. I actually think that this is one where you got to let it play out. You got to see where the story and the narrative goes. If it goes into the deep end and it becomes terrible, call it out. But right now, I think it's a little too early. Oh, they're killing Solo Sikoa. The face run is dead. I don't think so. I think this is going to be an amplification of it. I might end up being incorrect, but again, this is one of those situations where I'm actually going to let the story play out and reserve my judgment for a few more weeks to see how Solo's dynamic is impacted within this bloodline.
Well, what I mean with the whole Sami Zayn thing is that when they put Sami in there and he finally was part of it, I mean more of like the people want to see him turn. Once Solo gets in there, once Jacob's in there, the people are waiting for the turn to happen. They want Solo to get out. They want Jacob Fatu out. They want the bloodline to crumble. And that's what I mean. I think that WWE is trying to replicate that moment again with Solo, where there's going to be a moment where Solo has an opportunity to go with his family or break out and hit Roman with the chair type of beat again. Not going to say that it might go down exactly that way, but I think when Roman and Solo break or Solo breaks off, it's going to make him a bigger babyface, a bigger act, a bigger attraction. And one thing I will say, though, is even though people give a lot of flack to the bloodline, their dynamics are forming. The way Jacob Fatu treats Jey Uso, the way Jey Uso is unhinged, and the way he feels like he is, trying everything in a sense where he's reckless. And now you add Solo to the mix, it's going to be even more. And then you have Roman, who's at his best when he's trying to control his family. I think it's going to be a fun dynamic. And I will have to warn you this, though, is going to eat up a lot of Monday Night Raw. And you know why? You know why, Santi?
Why?
You kind of stumble into one of my topics I want to talk about today. The lack of main eventers on Raw is surprising. When you all of a sudden look around, before you chop my head off, Oba's an attraction right now. Not in the main event scene. He's an attraction. You're willing to buy a ticket to see Oba, but he's not in title picture just yet. So when you look at Monday Night Raw, who are the main eventers, Santi?
I mean, we're looking at LA Knight, Roman Reigns. Seth is gone, and I think he's going to be gone for some time. I think he's going to be working NFL here for a huge portion of the fall. I mean, from the men's side of things, I feel like I've already kind of hit it.
So generous of you to put LA Knight. I thank you so much.
I mean, he's in the title picture, right? God bless. That was your definition, if Oba's not in the title picture and LA Knight is.
God bless you. Look at that SmackDown. Give me the main eventers for SmackDown.
Oh, dude, that's insane. Yeah, now there we've got Randy, Cody, Punk, KO, Gunther. If you want to throw Sami Zayn in there, I think Finn Balor could be in the conversation. Like that main event scene is absolutely stacked.
Right, on a 2-hour show. So when you look at this show, lot of mid-card action, sure, capped by the bloodline, which is main event adjacent, surrogate main eventers with representing Roman. So I think that's what we're going to get more of leading into the rest of Roman Reigns into the fall. And I think it depends on how much you like the bloodline, but I think a lot of people may be feeling like, man, There's really not much beyond the bloodline for Monday Night Raw in the main event scene, and I think that might hurt some of the people's taste for Monday Night Raw in the fall.
Yeah, I hear you. I think Monday Night Raw is going to be heavily carried by the bloodline, as you mentioned. I have to give, I have to tip of the cap to Roman Reigns because it looks like he's going to be part of WWE once again throughout the fall, with him being part of Money in the Bank, him being part of already confirmed for Survivor Series War Games as well, right? Those are our two confirmed premium live events of the fall, which then stands to reason that he'll be part of the buildup for those, right?
Sure.
And I will say, and this might be, heresy to say, Roman Reigns, when he's on the show, he carries a lot more weight than multiple of those guys that we mentioned there on SmackDown. It's Roman Reigns. It's the biggest name in the industry. So they can they can coast a little bit more when Roman isn't there. It's those episodes that Roman isn't there because he's not there for 100% of the episodes, where then that main event scene and how it's lacking in depth becomes a lot more obvious. And that's when I think they start relying more on the bloodline stuff as opposed to Roman Reigns related stuff.
Correct. And that's why I feel like there is a siren needs to go off in some distance. A red light needs to flash. That this is why I feel Oba and Braun Breaker are really, really, really important for Monday Night Raw's sustainability in the future. You got to build these guys into the main event. They took the long scenic route with Braun Breaker. It backfired on them. I'm glad they're back on the track to get him into that level. And for some reason, I'm hoping they don't do the same with Oba Femi. So I ask you this, Santi, this man that has the knowledge, the brain power, the kind of brain lock in the early 2000s when the rise of John Cena and Batista. How were they able to book those two guys together without giving them like, oh, if this guy loses against the other, then the other one's going to be put down below, buried, all that kind of. How did they book two of these guys to become mainstays into the WWE years later?
Well, there's a big difference between the John Cena and Batista stuff versus the Braun Breaker and Oba Femi stuff. By the time that John Cena and Batista crossed paths, they were already the two top stars in the company.
Okay.
This isn't the case here. We can say Oba is one of the top stars in the company. We can put him in that conversation. I'd say. Sure. Braun Breaker, on the other hand, you're kind of trying to build. You're kind of trying to retcon. You're trying to fix, right? Meanwhile, when you look at the rise of Batista and John Cena, they were parallel and away from each other. Batista, the rising star of SmackDown, world heavyweight champion, feuding with all the top guys over there, being the top guy there, the top face. And then over on Monday Night Raw, John Cena was the same thing. The top guy beating all the top names, the top baby face. And they both became the megastars without having to cross against one another. So this is almost not comparable because it almost feels like they're putting Braun Breaker into the direct path of Oba Femi, maybe a little bit too early. Because when we look at these two and where they both are, it's tough to say, yep, these are our two top future main eventers when Braun Breaker has not been treated as such. Oba Femi has. Braun Breaker recently has not. So they're not entirely too comparable, unfortunately. I think maybe if anything, it might be a little bit closer to John Cena and Edge and when they started feuding, because Edge, he started breaking out a little bit, but he still had that like run as mostly like a tag team guy. People weren't sure about him yet as a single star. And then he ran into that feud with John Cena and then started flourishing and became a main eventer. Maybe that's what they're hoping here with Braun Breaker, that once he runs into Oba Femi, he flourishes and becomes a main eventer, becomes a mainstay, and runs parallel with Oba Femi for the rest of their careers like John Cena and Edge did. Yeah, ultimately, Batista and John Cena, that's such a flash in the pan. Like when you really think about it, that's so difficult to be able to pull off. Two new names crowning them both on the same night. WrestleMania 21. That's how parallel they are. They both became world champions on the same night. Dog, they eliminated each other at the exact same time at the Rumble. You know, like there was so many like hands of fate being put in front of the John Cena and Batista storyline and saga to make them both megastars so that down the line they could feud with each other. This is different. This isn't that. So I have to push back on that comparison. I don't think it's quite there. I wish it was, but
yes,
but the way Braun Breaker has been booked, it's not that.
And that's what I like about the new Braun Breaker track, the retconning, but it's done in like live with Paul Heyman.
Mm-hmm.
The idea where Paul Heyman's like, well, Oba has my respect. You need to do something that for me not to stop respecting Oba. And that to me is going to be interesting. I'm hoping Paul Heyman's not the let me get speared type of situation to get my respect. I'm interested to see what does Braun Breaker do to get the favor of Paul Heyman, and where does that lead him down the path against Oba Femi? Because I was saying, like, we could have had Oba. I ask you this again, and the reason why I ask you this because I like picking your brain, and then I like you expanding your thoughts because, you know, as much as the content you cover, I think I get to the nucleus of Santi sometimes. You know what I mean? I uncover some dirty, gritty things in your brain. And the thing I want to ask you is, like, would you rather have the thing where Oba wins 2 times against Brock Lesnar, 1 at SummerSlam, or a match against Roman where he has a very competitive match, whether he loses clean or not or whatever, or a loss to Roman at SummerSlam? Where would you want the path for Oba? Like, in terms of what multiverse thread?
I mean, I feel like the path I wanted for Oba has already gone past us. It was win King of the Ring, win at SummerSlam. Like we didn't get that. I think now the path for Oba, whether I want it or not, I think it's just, hey, we're just going to continue to keep him and Roman Reigns separated from one another, which I cannot stress enough, and I think you're on the same boat, makes no sense. Like, if you're Oba Femi and you won the King of the Ring and you beat Brock Lesnar, both 2 things that Roman on live TV said are parameters, prerequisites to face him and be at the front of the line. Hey, you haven't won a tournament. You haven't won a big match. Funny. Oba did both of those damn things. So explain to me why Oba's music doesn't hit when Roman Reigns is out there. It makes no sense. But it's clearly what they want. They want to keep Oba and Roman as far away from each other as they possibly can. And it's just going to be Oba winning the Rumble and facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. That's probably the next best thing that's available, because I don't want to see Oba Femi winning, you know, he world champion at Sunday night's main event. You missed the best exit route, which was SummerSlam. Now your next best thing is WrestleMania.
And it's a kind of interesting kind of topic to discuss, because it leads into other things. And that's why when you look at Braun Breaker, you and I discussed this moment, Santi, that there was a moment to hand in the ball. The exit was there for Braun Breaker to take when he had the title, walk down the aisle with it in his hand, and he had to give it back to Adam Pearce, and they delayed it. And then what happened? An injury happened, and then delayed him even further. And then booking didn't sync up, and now this dude's holding the dinner belt tag team title. Look at the flip side on SmackDown. Chelsea Green. We've been wanting Chelsea Green. We've been asking for Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green finally gets to that top of the mountain and unfortunately gets an injury. I'm just saying that there's so many things that could go wrong that you can't book for the future way out to Mania. I know Paul Heyman was on Chris Van Vliet. He's like, we're already booking next Mania. It's like, brother, things change. People get over when you don't expect. Things get hot out of nowhere. And in a day and age where social media is so fluid and things rise and fall, I suppose, and I guess you don't want to commit to a trend so quickly, but we lost Kit Wilson. Kit Wilson was on a big pop, a big rise. People are concerned about Sola because of the current past booking of WWE. And I'm not ready to put Oba there because he just beat Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, but he was ready on that perfect exit too, like you mentioned, to championship glory early.
That I fundamentally agree is a problem. And I don't know how much I buy this idea that like we're booking all the way out to WrestleMania. I actually know that I say that out loud, and I actually, I'm like, okay, no, maybe they are, because I just talked about how it's very clear that they're keeping Oba and Roman away from each other until WrestleMania. But you're right, like you should be able to recognize when the landscape is changing before you, it's not just always a smooth road. Hey, sometimes you're going to find a peak and a valley here. And maybe we ran into the moment where we should have pulled the trigger on Obafemi much sooner than we originally anticipated at WrestleMania. It is this weird obsession for WWE to save all of their biggest, most defining moments for WrestleMania. I get it. But, when you save all those moments just for WrestleMania, like, how do you want me to spend $3,000 on Survivor Series War Games? How do you want me to spend $3,000 at Money in the Bank? How do you want me to spend $3,000 at Sunday night's main event when, you're saving all of the most must-see memorable moments to WrestleMania? You absolutely could navigate your way to getting those big moments throughout the year and use a little bit more creative juices to still stick the landing and give yourself a massive moment at WrestleMania as well. Because when you forcefully save the big moment to WrestleMania, I think you kind of enter yourself into like creative handcuffs, where it's like, well, we can't really go in that direction, even though that direction makes sense because it impacts the original destination that we have of WrestleMania. Like, yeah, obviously that's why it's got me and you asking questions like, how in any world am I supposed to suspend my disbelief that Oba wouldn't be going after Roman Reigns right now? Well, I have to suspend my disbelief because that's what WWE has in their GPS as their destination at the end of the road here at WrestleMania.
And even WrestleMania has so much less wrestling time.
Let's talk about that because you had a tweet kind of go bonkers there where you were whining and complaining and crying and bitching and moaning.
Wait a minute. Wait, not true. I'm just a man stating some facts here. Now,
What was it? Talk us through it.
So on Saturday morning after Friday night, I watched the Friday night. I reviewed it on Patreon, which you could watch. I've noticed during my watch party, I said, why is there only 3 matches on a SmackDown on a 2-hour show? And then I woke up the next day. I was like, it made no sense to have just 3 matches. And then I tweeted out a card from 2002. And I randomly pick a card, by the way, on Cage Match from SmackDown 2002, a 2-hour show. And I just so happened to pick the one that Rey Mysterio debuted on. Okay. Oh. I picked a random one and it had to be that. And the point of my tweet was, I said, why we have 3 matches on SmackDown? By the way, this card, which was a 2002 card, had about, let me see, I think it had 6 or 7 matches. And it's a 2-hour show, by the way. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches on a 2-hour show. Now, I didn't post match times. I easily could have posted match times. I could have said, oh, look at this and that. But immediately people were like, well, match times. These were like 3 to 5 minute matches. Some were maybe 6. I was like, but that's not my point. My point is, if I was going to buy a ticket to a Philadelphia show, a big secondary market, by the way, almost on par with Chicago, I would say. If I was to buy a ticket and I only got 3 matches with 1 dark match, I would be upset. There were so many people in the thread that were like, I bought a ticket to that Philly show, and I was upset that I did not get my money's worth. And that's my concern. I come from a place where I've been fired with a moment's notice, the whole company shut down with nothing, right? No severance package, boom, out the door, you're done. And you know what? The red flag, and I mentioned this before so many times in different things that I talk about, is the snacks got weird. They started doing non-labeled snacks. And then
wait a minute. This no-name, no-label granola bar?
And then something, they started policing the number of snacks we could take. I'm telling you, before in the past, when I first signed up, dude, I would get 5-6 bags of chips, dude, and be all name brands, living like a king. And then they started going, you're only take one bag of this, 1 bag of that. And we have cameras, this, and that. I'm telling you, the WWE is still with TKO is still at its core a business that are trying to find ways to cut corners. And if we start accepting, no matter if it's like, oh, this was the post SummerSlam match, SummerSlam show, there's gonna be promo heavy, there's all gonna be this and that storylines. I get that, but I looked in all the past SummerSlams in the past post SmackDown, and it's never been 3 matches, never 4, 5. Sometimes 6, sometimes 7 matches post SummerSlam, same 2-hour block. Same 2-hour block because we didn't have 3 hours in the summer. We had 2 hours in the summer. And then you may be like, well, what about WrestleMania? WrestleMania, they have less matches after the post. A lot of fallout of WrestleMania. 5 matches for almost every WrestleMania SmackDown, post SmackDown. It's post Mania SmackDown. And I'm just simply saying, why, as a wrestling community, we're okay with 3 matches? And don't give me this less is more type of beat, because we got lucky and we had 2 fire promo segments with the main eventers that delivered. What's going to happen next time when we get 3 matches and those promos don't deliver?
Well, that was SmackDown there for like 5 months, right? We were getting few matches and very uninteresting storylines and uninteresting promos. Like, oh my goodness, like I kept saying, like, why did we make, for example, why did we make that Julia and Lash Legend match 2 minutes for that trash CM Punk and Cody Rhodes go home promo? Absolutely garbage, right? I'm with you, especially for a traveling show like a Friday Night SmackDown. Obviously, like, you want your promos and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I do think that people do pay for the wrestling portion of a wrestling show. And to only get 3 matches, it is low. It is. We need to find a happy medium, though, when you have great episodes like this of great promos and whatnot. I think they just need to be a lot more efficient with their time in between matches to get more matches out there if you know that you're going to have banger promos from your main event guys that do go for quite a while. Because I look at that last episode and I do have to then kind of ping pong it back to you. It's like, well, how do we add more matches without damaging what we saw there from Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton and Kevin Owens and CM Punk? And I don't want your answer to be make those shorter, because what we saw there was amazing. So when you have episodes like that, you said, okay, we can't always rely on episodes like that. But when you have episodes like that, what do? Should you just stomach the 3 matches? Do you say like, oh, well, at least we got entertained somewhere else? Or is there a solution here? I'm a solutions guy, Sancho. I was always like that in my managerial days. It's just like, okay, you have this problem. What solutions have you attempted? Because all you're bringing right now to me is a problem. So I say to you, Sancho, all you're doing right now is bringing to me a problem. What's the solution here?
Well, here's the solution, my friend. First off, God bless you, Randy Orton, but you're aura farming way too hard. All right.
Fair.
You don't need to go to all 4 corner posts and do your posts, right? You're eating up a lot of time, right? You're taking a lot of time off of people's plates here, okay, just to do your aura farming. I would say producing could be a little bit better, like you mentioned, the segments. We had Cody and CM Punk kind of squash the difference of was it true? What did you know about Randy? We could have easily put that in a backstage segment where they confrontate each other in the beginning. But no, we got to get Cody his whole entire entrance with his woe, right? People come for the woe. So why have 2 moments where Cody could come out to his entrance? I know the second one he ran out and confronted Cody in his windbreaker. He did a costume change. He went from his 3-piece suit into the windbreaker Cody, which is a better Cody. So I think if you start the show with CM Punk doing his thing and then KO coming in and interrupting him, that's where I would start the show. You save a lot of minutes there. Randy's entrance being cut a little bit short, you save minutes there. You don't have to do a recap of something we just saw. I would have taken a picture-in-picture match. If you need to do ads, give me a picture-in-picture ads match with Rey Fenix. And people are like, why would you give Rey Fenix a random match? I don't know, maybe to build him up and get him ready for the tournament that he's about to go into, because you just gave Dragon Lee a match right before the tournament that he's going to go into against Dominic Mysterio. So don't tell me you can't put Rey Fenix on SmackDown. Oh, you want a match with Baron Corbin? Sure. We could have a match for Blake Monroe. Would have been a great place to debut Blake Monroe in a squash match on the SmackDown after SummerSlam. Perfect. So, tighten up your entrances. We don't have a lot of time to get we only have 2 hours, all right? Tighten them up. Limit the in-ring promos to the most important things, and you could still have great backstage segments. They already do a great job weaving in things, and a lot of the promos get to the point, right? Which I'm enjoying a lot. But they still need to find ways to get more in-ring action. And I would say, in general, I think what hurts them the most is their pacing of the commercials hurt them the most, because remember, we got the first 30 minutes ad-free, And we only got the big segment in the beginning and then the Baron Corbin and Trick Williams match in those 30 minutes. That segment between KO and
No, we
CM Punk,
didn't. That Baron Corbin, no, that Baron Corbin match, I think
did it get a commercial?
It got a commercial.
Shocking, right?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that got a commercial. I think they did the entrances, the first portion of the match, commercial, comeback, end the match.
I would say when I'm because now I was tempted to watch 2002 because people were saying 2002 when I tweeted out, they're like, that's one of the best SmackDown years. So it's available on Peacock. And I went there and I said, okay, what's going down in 2002 that I really wanted to see what's going down? John Cena is still like the prototype back in the day. He's wearing the blue trunks. I clicked 2002 and immediately it says, welcome to SmackDown, and a match starts. You can even do that. I know people don't. It blew my mind when Monday Night Raw started with a Javon match. I was like, wait a minute, we're wrestling
that was nice. That was a nice change of pace.
A change of pace. I'm saying just quicken the pace, man. Get some urgency out there. But I feel like when SmackDown should never be 3 matches. You should always advertise your matches. There's people out there that there's a Monday Night Raw 2 weeks from now. They don't even know who's on the card.
That's a huge problem.
I didn't know that LA Knight would be in the main event on SmackDown until the week of. You think I'm going to throw down extra money to go to a SmackDown when the week of I know the main event? It needs to be better. It's inexcusable for not having, when you look at, there was times where they would say tonight's preview Monday Night Raw just told you who was appearing. And there was no matches on that preview. I looked at all the websites, the Fightfuls and everything. There was no matches. It was just 3 people were appearing. And then today we only got 3 advertised matches on Monday Night Raw. And luckily, Santi, we added 2 more. That's 5. It just makes it harder for you to commit such a big ask to commit to that price without knowing what you're getting for. And I think we had this conversation a long time ago when we were like, the WWE's banking on their brand. Like, oh, dude, this is WWE. You should go and you're going to have a good show. You're going to have a good time. You're going to go ahead and watch some good wrestling. They're trying to be like the NFL. Dallas Cowboys. There's people who don't even know who's on the roster, but they know it's the freaking Dallas Cowboys, right? They go to the game because it's the brand. I know they suck right now. Okay. I know they do. But the point I'm trying to say is that WWE is relying a lot on the logo and not enough on the talent to sell their shows.
I agree with that part, and I don't think that the show has been good enough to rely on the brand. I think there was a stretch of time, remember when they were just selling out everything?
Well,
they had like the 38 straight sellouts or whatever it was. That was like, yeah, man, you go. You're going to have a good time. What am I getting? You don't know yet, but it's going to be a good time. Nowadays, I feel like with how spotty and on and off the quality of the product has been, mostly off for most of 2026, I don't blame consumers for not wanting to blindly jump into going to a Friday Night SmackDown or a Monday Night Raw. I feel like, when the going's good, sure, you might jump in blindly, but right now I think people, and not to mention the actual economy itself isn't particularly great. Gas is insanely expensive. Produce is insanely expensive. Everything just existing is expensive. People are going to be a lot more cautious as to where they throw their money when it comes to their, non-essential spending like entertainment and going to a WWE show. And if I don't know what I'm getting on that night, I'm going to be a lot more tight with my wallet, or maybe I'll wait till the day of the show and get the cheapest ticket available and wait for the prices to drop, stuff like that. But I'm with you. I wish that SmackDown would advertise and Raw would advertise their shows a lot better. It's so funny because like my thumbnail guy, every now and then, he'll be like, I don't know what to put on your Raw or SmackDown Live thumbnail. Like, they're just saying that like Roman Reigns is going to be here and that's it. Like they're not advertising anything else.
That's what's crazy to me. And I know a lot of people were just looking at the 2002 card itself. Yes, I know on the card you had you had the Reverend Devon versus the Big Valboski. Okay,
that's a sick match.
I know, and I know there's no women's wrestling on here. I know, right? But that's my point. Is proven even harder. The roster is better. There's a whole talented division called the women's division there too, right? It's not about who is wrestling. It's just the amount of people that are wrestling that I think is hurting the overall thing. And people are like, why would you want to see a Reverend Devon, the Big Valboski? Well, guess who was the valet of Reverend Devon at the time? Batista. The dude got reps, right? The dude's out there getting reps on TV. Yes, it was a 4-minute, 3-minute match, but still, he got reps. And then at the same time, you have the World Tag Team title match between the Un-Americans and The Rock and Hogan post-Mania after their big match. There's a lot of issues. There's a lot of main eventers not wrestling because they're no longer seen as a superstar. They are seen as a product. You can't have them injured. I don't think, even though we're going to get Kevin Owens on the 21st, I don't think we're going to see him wrestle on a weekly basis. That's not going to be the case for KO. He's going to appear bi-weekly. Maybe he'll cut a promo in one place and then he'll wrestle 2 weeks later. But I think what my thing is overall is people should not defend 3 matches. If you were looking at their earlier SmackDowns, when they had 3 matches, one of them was like a battle royal or a gauntlet match that you kind of got stuck in multiple matches in one. It's a slippery slope, Santi. I've already was the guy that was ringing the bell that prices are getting too high for families. I was already saying 4 years ago, I was saying that. 3 years ago, I was talking about PLEs. We need more matches. And look at that. ESPN agreed and now is pushing for more matches. Now we got 6. We need to fight for more matches because that is what I feel at the end of the day is going to be not necessarily a jumping off point, but it's going to be one of those moments like, wait a minute. Other promotions are giving you more matches. I would confidently say when AEW comes to town, I always buy a ticket, no matter what, who's on the card, no matter what, who's the main event, because I know I want to get my money's worth, and it's affordable as mess. Is it in the biggest arena? Hell no. I got to drive about 50 minutes out to the outskirts of Austin, Texas, and near Cedar Park in a HEB arena where they have Disney on Ice, brother. I understand.
Nice.
On ice. I understand. And I know there's another criticism is people are like, well, you're too harsh on WWE. Brother, we were literally called WWE is cool on a TikTok post about favorite fan podcast. What do you want from me? All right. I'm just telling you how I feel. Okay. When the product is good, it's great. And when it's bad, I got to call it out because it's going to affect you, the fan, as well. If you don't see that 3 matches is a problem, I don't know what I need to tell you that it is a problem.
Well, you mentioned too there the women of Friday Night SmackDown as well. Like we talked about like how deep the roster is for the men's main event. The women's is just as deep, plus women that they are just simply not using that could be, main event players if they really allowed them to be, but they're not allowed to be main eventers. They're not being allowed to appear at all on TV. So the likes of like Blake Monroe, Julia, Jordan Grace. Are we talking maybe about a situation where maybe just the rosters are just imbalanced? Maybe you were talking about earlier, you were talking about how the Monday Night Raw main event scene, it's not very deep. Maybe we should be looking at creating more parity between the 2 shows. And maybe that gives us more room to feature more of the talent in general on a weekly basis. But I don't know, dude. Like, I feel like we've had balanced rosters before, and we still get to this problem anyway.
Is it because that the new barometer or measuring stick in talent is records?
Records. Explain that a little more.
Wins or losses.
Okay.
Like the reason why you don't have Roman, CM Punk, and Cody on the same show or Randy on the same show in general on the Roman side is because you don't want Randy to take an L against Roman on a random. They don't even wrestle on a random weekly. But do you know what I'm saying? Like the reason why we can't have this person over there because then they will have to run into that person and we can't make that person look weak, so we have to keep them looking strong. Versus when the 2002 era, people would take losses left and right. Stone Cold would lose on a Monday night randomly. He wouldn't be the guy that gets the upper advantage one week. Like that's what. Are you thinking like they're just too protective of the status of the superstars on a weekly television show?
I mean, I don't know if that's the reason, but they are overly protective of their stars on the weekly shows. That's like a guaranteed, like factual thing, way more than they used to be. You're 100% right on that note. Granted, like in that 2000s era, they would also rely on the good old classic disqualification finish or whatever. Sure. But it does feel like nowadays they don't even want that. They just don't want to put these guys across from one another. There's always these tweets that always go viral of like, look at this random card in 2008, and it'll be like John Cena versus The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels versus Batista, and it'll just be like the most insane card on this episode of Monday Night Raw. That is definitely an era gone by, that doesn't exist anymore. And I do think that it goes back to protecting those main event like records, as you mentioned it, which, I mean, I guess for better or for worse, I guess I understand the logic behind it. You know, you want to keep them as pristine for your PLEs as much as you possibly can, but it does make those weekly shows a lot more inconsequential, unfortunately, when you know that that this upper echelon of guys are never going to cross paths against one another on an episode of Friday Night SmackDown or Monday Night Raw. That's why when it does happen, right, when we get a Sami Zayn versus CM Punk for the world title, when we get a Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the world title on SmackDown, funny enough, I still don't think that's like untouchable versus untouchable. I think that's definitely an untouchable versus a guy that WWE is happy to take a loss, and Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. But when we do get those crossovers, when we do get those big matches, they're big deals and people talk about them. And maybe I don't know, maybe their logic is if we do these too often, maybe people don't talk about them. Like that could be it. I'm just trying to get into their brain. I obviously would much prefer to have these main eventers cross paths with one another in tag team matches, singles matches, whatever it might be. I'm just trying to figure out what their logic is here.
Well, because when you look at the Julias and Blakes and Jordan Grace, it's like, how can you build them up without getting them time? Triple H critiqued the internet again, and he said, I wish people would blame wrestlers for what their actions, what they do, rather than the writers. But I'm like, dude, you're not even putting the characters out there to play in the world. Like, well, what do you mean, Triple H? It's like, if you want me to hate Blake Monroe, keep putting her out there, put her in a match. If you want me to hate Liv Morgan for not wrestling, like I said before, make her decline matches. There's so many opportunities that you could put these talents in there. And just interesting enough that I do feel that Baron Corbin is purposely there to test Trick and Mello to see if they're willing to do some jobs so that they could finally, I don't know. I'm confused as well to see what they're doing with Trick and Mello. Why give them losses to Baron Corbin? Because, you know, Mello has a chance to lose in his hometown again. Now he did win in Boston last time, but I'm saying he has a chance to lose against Baron Corbin in his hometown.
I mean, it would be par for the course for WWE to make him suffer.
I'm sorry, dude. When Corbin came out on the motorcycle, I was like, he's winning. I was like, they got to go do with a motorcycle entrance. He's going to win. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it still feels like such a random championship run for Baron Corbin. It just feels like, and I've been saying this in a video, I said, like, it just sort of feels like they took the title off of Trick to find a way to get it onto Mello without Mello having to beat a fan favorite.
And
that's all it feels like.
The records, why do we, maybe it's us. Maybe we're like Eric Andre. Like, how can this happen? Who did this? You know, maybe we're shooting ourselves here in that situation. Is maybe as a fan base, we got to stop caring about wins or losses. But it's hard for me to do that when I see a loss like Dominic Mysterio losing the Dragon League clean. And not like a Weasley move that backfired on Dom, not like him trying to cheat and didn't work out, just utterly losing freaking clean to Dragon Lee. Damn.
Yeah, dude.
Damn.
I mean,
it's your fault.
How is it my fault?
Loving Dom. You stop loving Dom. And he used to run on your love. He used to run on your love. He used to be.
You think he's fueled by my glaze?
Yes. He was fueled by your ever-leaving sweet honey glaze. And all of a sudden, what did you do? You jumped off the boat, and what happened to his push? You are the tastemaker of the WWE fan base. You are Mr. Club WWE.
I know. Stop it. Stop it. I was starting to get away from that.
Mr. Club WWE. And I'm sorry, what you say likes happens, Santi.
I mean, I was a big fan of Dominic Mysterio. I still like Dominic Mysterio, but
he said I was.
I'm not as big as I was before. That's for sure. I don't hide that. But can you blame me? Like, can you blame me? This is a guy that's been the AAA champion for almost a year, and they've had him defend twice. Twice they've had him defend this thing. Not only is the problem the fact that he's defended twice, it's also the fact that he like barely appears on AAA TV as is. He's been appearing more often as they're building towards Triple Mania, but you look at the majority of his reign, those weekly shows were almost entirely like carried by the El Grande Americano saga. It's ridiculous how little Dominic Mysterio has been featured in AAA. And then you look at, the start-stop nature of his championship reigns, both Intercontinental Championship reigns. It's like he wins and then disappears, and then he has a nice little run and then disappears, and then has a nice little run and then disappears. Just this lack of consistency from Dominic Mysterio's championship reigns, these mystery injuries that keep him out for like a month or two that prevent him from having matches. Like, it's just been such a rocky road for Dominic Mysterio. To the point where it's like it's hard to buy into the Dominic Mysterio heel character at this point when the WWE themselves has no interest in seemingly buying into it. Like it's hard as a Dominic Mysterio fan to know, like, hey, I know this guy is capable of doing all of this stuff and do such a great job. But when you don't even put him in those positions, it's hard to get invested in him, right? You're having this guy play the wrong role and do the wrong things. This isn't a miscast. I think this is just a misuse of Dominic Mysterio. So, I get it. Maybe I'm no diehard Finn Balor fan that sticks with Finn Balor through and through, no matter what. Maybe I'm not a Glaze Factory manager that sticks with LA Knight no matter what. But ultimately, what I think I am is a more traditional fan, where I don't think that my views are exactly like every fan, but I think my views aren't outlandish to say I'm some sort of outlier. If I'm feeling this way about Dominic Mysterio, I bet you a lot of the hardcore Dominic Mysterio fans are feeling this way about him as well. We need them. The machine needs to be behind you at some point in order for the fan base to truly be able to enjoy investing in you early. And it's so bizarre how we've kind of done like an upside down world with Dominic Mysterio, where it started off so hot, and then now it's in the doldrums to the point where even he's complaining about his booking on Twitter with the Marshawn Lynch. I'm just here so I don't get fined. Clearly not happy about what went down with the Human Monies on a pole match. Like, everything just feels disconnected right now. Like, all the wiring just feels like it's just a mess right now with Dominic Mysterio, and it's hard to buy in when the wiring is the way that it is. Like, right now, my only hope for Dominic Mysterio is that they make him into some super Bond villain levels bad guy over in AAA, because the main roster don't give a shit right now about him, and it's so disappointing. It's so sad.
I'd like to point out, AAA, when it's joined Fox, 1 hour show, 3 matches. As I was saying, why do you hate Dom, dude? He just got Liv Morgan back in AAA, dude. Isn't that was kind of, hey, right?
But again, whatever happens in AAA just isn't, the left hand doesn't talk to the right. Why? We went through this with Dominic. We went through this with El Grande Americano. Like, sure. What are they doing? I really don't understand. It feels straight up, Zancho, like main roster's trying to sabotage what AAA is putting forth. They did it with El Grande Americano, and thank goodness the story and the saga in AAA was so generationally good that it made us all forget about the stupid garbage that they were doing on the main roster, to the point where they literally straight up belittled the no touch clause. Like, oh, it's only in Mexico. They didn't fucking say that on the show on Triple. It didn't say all of a sudden across borders. It was so stupid. And now here we are with Dominic Mysterio, the king of the luchadors, not being in a luchador tournament, and then and then losing to another luchador that isn't even considered a main eventer over in AAA right now. It's fucking ridiculous, dude.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? Thor: Love and Thunder. Remember?
Screaming
wait,
goats.
what is this? What is this Thor? Wait a minute. Wait, where's the other Thor that we saw over there? What are we doing? What happened to this Thor? And you might be onto something. I do think that there is I think Dom does feel he is untouchable though. Like, I think Dom is like, dude, wrestling has more than one royal family. He is part of a royal family. He is part of one royal family, the Mysterios, right? He is part and subset the Guerreros at the same time. It's kind of weird how he blends the two. But I do feel that Dom is like no other person on the roster is ever going to consider tweeting out, "I'm here not to be fine," right?
Yeah.
No one would ever do that because they know they'd be out on their ass next
LA
week.
Knight, bro. LA Knight held one sign and went into purgatory.
It didn't even say anything bad. It just says LA. It was a fan sign that said, "I want LA Knight more than Jey Uso." That's it. That's it. It's like it's like a heel signing an autograph at the thing. You know what I mean? But I do feel that WWE is old school punishing Dominic Mysterio. They are taking the shine off of him on their main roster. But the difference between Solo Sikoa losing this and that is that I do not see the out for Dom. I do not see that, like you mentioned, the Bond villain escalation to on the main roster. He is just right now, Judgment Day is literally Liv Morgan right now, which is fine because there is no leaders in Judgment Day. But still, Judgment Day stock is at an all-time low.
Dude, I mean, you mentioned Liv. What'd she get? 15 seconds of screen time, and all the screen time went to Stephanie Vaquer and Becky Lynch on this episode of Monday Night Raw.
I want to point that out because I was excited for Liv Morgan to get back into action. But now we got to take the slight detour, which is fine. Stephanie Vaquer and Becky, which is I'm happy for. I'm excited. But I was hoping that we would get Liv and Becky first, and then Stephanie Vaquer and Liv again. I don't know. Most likely, you know, Santi, we've seen this play before. I've seen this play before so many times. The number one contenders match between Stephanie Vaquer and Becky Lynch, and oh my God, Liv Morgan interferes. Oh, Adam Pearce comes in. Guess what, Liv? You got a triple threat now. Congratulations.
Oh yeah, the classic. Ha ha ha. No one won, so no one's the number one contender.
Speaking of awesome booking, I want to go back to SmackDown. Is this the same place?
Hit me.
Here's how you bring Johnny Gargano back. All of a sudden, Sami Zayn doesn't have a partner. Adam Pearce puts Sami Zayn and Johnny Gargano back. Sami Zayn goes to the ring, and you got some other two, maybe against the Wepa Truth. Then all of a sudden, Sami Zayn, he's there, and then out comes Candice with Johnny Gargano wheeling him out. They roll him on the apron, and the whole match, he is laying on the ground the whole time and just planking on the apron. And Sami Zayn's getting worked, and he's like trying to go for a hot tag. Nothing happens, right? Nothing happens. And then finally, he gets tagged in. Johnny gets tagged in. And then the person like looks at him, and then he rolls in the middle of the ring, right? And all of a sudden, you're just looking at Johnny like, what the hell are you doing, dude? Get up. A la Jeff Jarrett and the Hulk Hogan, right? He's laying there like that. And then the person decides, I don't know, maybe Damian Priest. They cover Johnny Gargano. 1, 2, kick out from Johnny.
The pop.
Oh my God.
The pop would be crazy. I love
Johnny's
it.
alive, dude. Oh my God. And he starts coming to life. Man, that's what I mean. Where's the creativity? Instead, they're in the backstage segment when they could at least have one of these moments. At least I would want multiple weeks of Sami Zayn getting screwed over by putting in tag teams with Johnny and then just going to get 2v1 the entire time. Put him against the War Raiders, put him against Wepa Truth, put him against whatever Mexican tag team down in AAA, and just have Johnny plank the whole time until that one time.
The kick out.
The kick out. Oh my God. I don't, because honestly, dog, I don't know what's to play with Johnny Gargano either. Like,
I thought he was gonna perk up when CM Punk said maybe I'll give him a world championship match. You know,
yeah.
And if that didn't get him to perk up, I really don't know what will. I don't know what the end game is for Johnny Gargano. I think this is where I'm like, I'm sure this is one of those that they're not planning all the way through to next year's WrestleMania. You know, I think they're just. I'm pretty sure that they're just making this one on the fly. You know, I doubt Paul Heyman's like, yeah, we're already booking Johnny's plank to WrestleMania 45. Just you wait. You know, I don't think we're going to be getting that.
Well, because I noticed Jinder Mahal posted the 90-day clause. He kind of clarified what that meant. And he said they basically pay you about the 90 days, but they take you off TV. And they take you off for that for liability reasons, and they don't have you show up. And of course, they don't want you to get over while you're in that 90-day period. So that's why they release you and they get that 90-day buffer. But I don't think Johnny's been released or on the way out the door, because if he was, they wouldn't put him on TV.
As much as they do. It's every episode.
Right. And if he got an inkling that he was getting screwed over or he was being punished, or in lack of a better word, like being buried here. Why would he agree to that? Because he could just be off TV, gather that mystique.
So you think there's a master plan somewhere? You're waiting for them to execute on this master plan, but we don't know what it is, bro.
Dude, you would pop.
I would.
Pop
I
so
a
hard.
1,000,000% I would pop. Yes, I don't disagree.
Ooh, the Hulk up from Johnny, because you've been watching his prime. You've been in his prime.
I'm currently in NXT. It's the Johnny Gargano show right now. Every NXT Takeover main event seems to have Johnny wrestling in some way, shape, or form. I think it was like Johnny versus Andrade, which is my current number 1. And then the 2 Ciampa matches were fantastic. They're both in my top 5 as well. So right now we're in the peak of it right now with the NXT Takeover main event watch along. So come over patreon.com/SantiZap. So Sancho, real quick. Okay. I want to go back to Solo Sikoa here real quick for a second. And
the guy who thumped Cena 18 times?
Yes, that guy. That was only like 7 times. There you go.
It starts hurting.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Yeah, I think that was only 13. You have 5 more.
It hurts.
You have 5 more. Finish it. Sancho, may I present to thee the payoff of Solo Sikoa and the bloodline that I think you're gonna love?
Is it tin hat? Is it safe place? You gotta say the words.
Oh, is this a safe place?
Always, papa.
All right. Solo being forced to join the bloodline. He'll be the class clown. He'll be the one that belittles. And like you said, you're waiting for that face turn. May I present to you the idea of him turning face by turning on Roman during his match against LA Knight. Yeah, we saw Solo Sikoa clearly still has a soft spot for LA Knight. He wants LA Knight to succeed. We had the hug at SummerSlam. Solo wanted LA Knight's help going into this match. That would be 2 birds, 1 stone, my man. That's the Solo Sikoa babyface turn, or, the big payoff of him joining the bloodline, and you get LA Knight as your next world heavyweight champion. Now, of course, I'm also going to follow it up by saying, fat chance of all of this happening, but it's not impossible. I'm saying there's a chance.
It took Avengers to beat a Thanos. It was 1 chance. Granted, Iron Man had to die, but still, he got the job done.
Hey,
are you saying that he's LA Knight's Iron Man?
He's yeah, man. Instead of saying I am Iron Man, he's gonna say I am Solo Dolo.
I'm excited, dude. The possibility is there. Now I know I said that last week, but go ahead, take what I say and make it your own, and make a video and make thousands of dollars. So go ahead.
That's the play. That's the plan. I
did it last week, but you're forgetting the main part that he gets cashed in on right after he wins.
All right, in this nightmare scenario, who cashes in on him?
Oh, let's see.
It needs to be somebody dastardly, right?
Drew.
Shut up! You're not gonna give Drew McIntyre the Money in the Bank again. Sancho, shut your bitch ass up. Shut your bitch ass up. Pick somebody else that isn't Drew McIntyre. Good Lord. Good God. You talk about lack of creativity from WWE.
It's not Trick. Ain't gonna be Trick.
What about Braun Breaker? Braun Breaker.
I target for Oba.
For Oba, I said in a video that the Money in the Bank right now could be used in a couple ways. It could be used to enhance a character, or it could be used to save a character. You can enhance Trick Williams, Tricky in the Bank. It makes sense for somebody like him to be carrying it around. Or you could save a character like a Braun Breaker that kind of needs a lifeline, like a Dominic Mysterio that needs a lifeline, like a Blake Monroe that needs a lifeline. I think
you want Blake Monroe to cash in on Roman? That's crazy.
I mean, diamonds are forever. I don't know the lyrics, but song rules. And we haven't heard it because they won't play it because she don't get entrances.
Again, she needs help with sprites. I'm her guy. I'm your Fortnite guy.
Sancho's been
Let me
trying
help her.
so hard to get into those Blake Monroe DMs and be like, let me show you my Sprite collection. Let me help you. Let me
These are
be
my
your
ladies.
Sprite shopper. That's you.
Let me be your Sprite hero, please.
I can be your Sprite hero, baby.
Baby, I could give you your 0 point. Yeah, dude, that'd be cool. I mean, but that's the thing. Do you want Oba to beat Braun Breaker for the title, or do you want to beat Rowan for the title? I don't think you would care at that point, right?
I mean, I don't care. I don't care.
Right?
I mean, who knows? Maybe Oba goes into Mania as the champion and he faces Roman. And rather than it becoming a crowning moment for Oba, it becomes a solidification moment for Oba. It could be that.
Yeah. Oh, possibilities. It feels like I haven't, the Money in the Bank, it feels like almost like, I know it was last year, of course, but it feels like 2-3 years since we've seen that bad boy. Because it was cashed in the day of, right?
Yeah, one of those by your stupid
Rollins,
prediction of having Drew McIntyre. Well, God, what? Can we go back to what a dumb idea to have Drew McIntyre with Money in the Bank.
I've unlocked that thing. You went on a good rant. That was 2 years ago when Drew cashed in.
Yeah, I hated that, and I still hate it. You want to relive that again?
Seth Rollins was last year. That was magical, but it still feels like it was years ago.
It was magical, but it was cursed.
Cursed.
Before Danhausen, that cash-in was cursed.
And then Tiffy had that thing. Who was before Tiffy?
Tiffy held for a while. Naomi's cash-in was great, but she didn't hold for very long. That was a month, right? She won, and she won at the beginning of the month and cashed in.
Right.
Within the 3 weeks or something like that.
Who was before? And then who was before Tiffy? Because Tiffy had that cool pink briefcase. Remember
Tiffy was that Io?
She had the purse.
Io cashing in on Bianca.
It was Io. Why was she the mystery partner? Oh damn! Wait, slow down. Whoa!
The cut's coming along, brother.
Whoa! You cutting for the Club WWE, right?
Nope,
you gotta make those appearances.
I'm cutting for nope, not for Club WWE, not for the appearances. I don't know, dude.
You're making more and more appearances. You're out with people. You're mingling. The people go like, "Damn, you're kind of big." They didn't expect you to be so big.
Yeah, that happens a lot. It's like, oh, I didn't know you were this tall. I didn't know you were this buff. I'm like, yeah, I
mean, you're kind of like built like a WWE superstar. Am I wrong?
I'm bigger than a lot of WWE superstars, but hey, we won't talk about that. Put me next to Nathan Frazier, bro. Bigger, better.
Why don't you get in the ring, big dog?
Because I have no athletic ability to do so. All my muscles are for show. They're not real. They don't do anything.
Get in there against BDE, dude. Challenge one of those boys.
They just look nice.
Dank ops, dude. Come on, man.
My muscles are purely aesthetics. You know, they do nothing.
Come on, just because AJ Francis shoved you once, you're like, this is too real for me.
Yeah, dude, it hurt so much when he shoved me.
I don't know, dude. Did you see Chris Van Vliet with his Chris Bottom again?
Dude, it was nice. He does even the little leg kick on the way down. It's clean.
He's so clean. It's unfair. So clean. Can he be bad at something? Chris Van Vliet, are you bad at anything? Can you name one thing you're bad at? I mean, I know you kind of skirt the danger zone. I've been there before as an interviewer where you say something, you got your foot in your mouth, but you know, he was like talking about what's her face, Anne Hathaway, and he was able to
age thing.
He pulled that. No, it was the Catwoman and how fit she was, and she was like, "Excuse me, sir."
Oh, you're a forward young man.
And he was like, "Pull up," and he got out. Yeah, I mean, he survived that. So I've been there before, big dog, Chris Van Vliet. But you're not bad at that. You're great at interviewing people. You're the king of interviewing Hollywood and wrestling. You got to be bad at something, dog. Are you bad at cooking pancakes?
Dude,
That's what I need to know.
Yeah, maybe he's bad at tennis or something.
Something.
He looks like he's good at tennis.
He's good. He's probably bad at crane machines, probably. You know, he
can't get that crane machine. Dude, bet you he's bad at I bet you he's not the King of Kong. Doubt it.
There's no documentary on you, Chris Van Vliet, about
you bitch. Yeah, where's your King of Kong high score? We love you, Chris. Hey, can I just hang on? Can I just pull up Chris Van Vliet's YouTube channel real quick? I'd like to to take this moment to hype myself up. Okay.
He likes to flex in person, and now he's flexing clout.
Watch this flex. Okay, so we go to the CVV YouTube channel. I open it up, and now Sancho, I want you to listen to these list of names. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Nikki Cross, Joe Gacy, The Undertaker, Nick Aldis, Matt Cardona, Dragon Lee, Gangrel, Ethan Page, Finn Balor, The Great Khali, Jeff Jarrett, Brian Cage, Big E, Layla, Heidenreich, Kathy Kelly, Gary V, Brian Myers, Carlito, Rico, Joe Hendry, Jimmy Wang Yang, The Sandman, Rick Boogs, Maven, Dakota Kai, Billy Gunn, Giovanni Vinci, Becky Lynch, Stephanie Vaquer, Liv Morgan, Drew McIntyre, Sam Roberts, Mark Merrow, Candice Michelle, Chris Masters, John Morrison, Mustafa Ali, Chris Statlander, Brad Williams, Darby Allen, Eva Marie, Rusev, BDE, Mosh, Nia Jax, The Hardys, Kit Wilson, Paul London, Buff Bagwell, Jackie Redmond, Raven, Frankie Kazarian, Shayna Baszler, DDP, Todd Grisham, Kyle Fletcher, Chelsea Green, Brian Danielson, Lana, Swerve Strickland, Sal Vulcano, David Otunga, Paul Walterhausen, Mick Foley, Maxine Dupree, Grayson Waller, Michael Chandler, Mickey James, Jelly Roll, Natalia, Peter Rosenberg, Nick Namath, and Killer Cross and Mark Kerr. All episodes that came after me that got less views than me. I'm the star. All of them, Chris, remember, got less views than your interview with a wrestling YouTuber.
Impressive. Now, what are the podcast numbers on that, though?
On mine? Oh, like
yeah,
the audio
numbers.
Oh yeah, we don't know. We're going just off YouTube. Yeah, I'm taking the win where I can.
I would say the win against Maven was big. That's a pretty big one.
Let's talk about Punk and Kevin Owens, man. I haven't gotten your I like to temperature check you every once in a while. How are we feeling about Punk and KO? Do you feel like they knocked it out of the park? Do you feel them, sir? Did you feel like they did what they needed to do in their first interaction to get you pumped up? You are the SmackDown reviewer. Would love to know what you think.
Of course. I think they blend that line of realism and producing, of course, of scripted drama that we all love in the wrestling ring and the squared circle. What I like about Kevin Owens, he's refreshing. He means what he says, and he says it to the person across the way. I think that's a lost art in wrestling these days. LA Knight and Jacob Fatu got there when Jacob Fatu started yelling at LA Knight, and he said, nah, wrong guy. And then Jacob, yeah, right guy right away. I was like, damn, we're missing that. We're missing that animosity. It's not necessarily I need to believe that they hate each other. It's just more of like they just need to believe that they're talking to each other. And that's why I like about CM Punk, his promos. When someone steps up to the plate, he steps up to the plate even higher, and everything escalates wonderfully. And I think that's what Kevin Owens and CM Punk present. The idea of their two professionals, which they both said in the promo, and the idea that I like Kevin Owens bringing in this idea of like, you're just an egotistical guy saying best in the world. And thank you, because CM Punk was like, you need to give me gratitude because I blazed this path before you. No, WWE would never, before me, WWE would never look at somebody like you. You're out of shape, as he kind of hinted at. And you're ugly mug, basically. And without me, there is no you. And Kevin Owens said, oh, I appreciate the gratitude because I hope one day I will never be a piece of shit like you. Whoa, great stuff, right? I think that WWE and fans right now, the modern fan, loves a little taboo talk. And that's what I like about Kevin Owens and CM Punk. It's taboo, but to the point where you know that they're still trusting and they're being, lack of a better word, vulnerable with each other so they could get to those touchy subjects. I do believe Punk has made it clear that his dog is off limits, but Kevin Owens could skirt that line pretty confidently and not be afraid to do that. That'd be crazy because Roman couldn't touch Larry in terms of that conversation, which we all thought would be the fire comeback line is like, yeah, I'll bury you next to your dead dad, and then Roman would say, I'll bury you next to your dead dog, something like that. But the point I want to make is, I think Kevin Owens and CM Punk are was missing. And if we're going to get promos only on SmackDown with 3 matches, then thank God Kevin Owens is part of that.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this conversation, like why could Kevin and Punk work, but Punk and Cody couldn't work. And this is what I've come to the conclusion to. I think when Kevin Owens is on screen, I think he portrays a very realistic human person. I think the way that he talks, his motivations,
yeah,
it feels like they're a lot more relatable. Like, this is how a human would behave. This is how a human would talk. This is how a human would express his grievances with somebody. Meanwhile, I look at when we were being force-fed the disgusting, awful, not succulent Chinese meal that was CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes. They both felt like fake characters, like written for this specific storyline characters. No one talks the way that they talk. No one communicates to each other the way that they do. No one cries and bitches about you touched me with the belt the way that you did. Everything in all of their interactions felt like manufactured wrestling characters. And unfortunately, they were not able to blend in with their skill at acting that real human feel and human touch that makes me go, I understand why these guys have a problem with each other. And Kevin Owens, I genuinely think, Sancho, might be the best in the business right now at making his storylines feel grounded and real. You know how like people hate when like Call of Duty goes like, oh, you know, we got jetpacks, we're doing the triple jumps, you can play as a robot, you can play as Lady Gaga.
Advanced Warfare, yeah.
But people love boots on the, and then they go to boots on the ground. Modern Warfare 4, none of these crazy silly gimmicks, no double jumps, no jetpacks, nothing like that. And then you're like, I like this grounded, realistic experience. I feel like that's what Kevin Owens brings to the table. And not only did he bring it here, I think he's always brought it. Like when that last feud with Sami Zayn before his injury, the feud that he was building up with Randy Orton before his injury, the feud with Cody Rhodes. There is just this unbelievable ability from Kevin Owens to make me, the guy singing at home that's not a wrestler, for me to say, yeah, I get it. I get why Kevin just said what he said. I get why Kevin just did what he did. I get why Kevin did the awful dastardly thing. I get why he did the package pile driver on Randy Orton. All of this stuff. It just becomes relatable and understandable from a human perspective. Meanwhile, Cody and Punk, they were not able to do that. You know what Cody and Punk were trying to do? They were trying to do Batman v Superman. That's what they were trying to do. And that's
their characters.
Yeah. And that didn't work as a movie. Martha, why'd you say that name? It's like, you were about to kill him and then he says a name and now you're not going to kill him. No one behaves like that. No one reacts like that. Kevin Owens, though.
Exactly. But it's the whole thing. Just say win.
So dumb. No one talks like that. No,
yes, they do.
No,
they're doing a little Parmesan on a little bowl.
Fair enough. I have been bested. Yep. Just say
win. Look, man, that's what wrestling's at its best. But that's why when I went to Monday Night Raw and I saw LA Knight and Jacob Fatu, I like it that it wasn't I'm going to talk, you're going to talk, I'm going to talk. I like the little quip LA Knight threw in there, and it made Jacob go even combust into me higher. And then, but I got to hand it to him. When you have the same criticism for Cody, CM Punk, Cody and Randy, when Cody said, look, brother, you're a legend, and I'm looking around, there's no other legends left. So who's going to kill you? Like, I'm in there too. You know what I mean? There's something about it when, again, it's Windbreaker Cody, dude. Windbreaker Cody with the sleeveless. He's the best version of himself. So I think it's just a matter of chemistry. And surprisingly, something that we wanted with Cody and CM Punk, the thing that made their chemistry so interesting was the AEW talk, and they couldn't pull that card. So they resulted to, what did I want to call it? very cheap 80s action star lines between two people that don't feel like action stars between two people. Because if it was Oba and Brock saying those lines, it'd be kind of different. You'd be like, all right, hell yeah, brother, say win. Say win to the ruler, right? You'd be like, oh, hell yeah. You know.
Dude, imagine Oba Femi as your Olive Garden waiter.
Oh, God.
Oh.
Burn with the breadsticks. Burn.
Yeah, he's coming out with the breadsticks and he sees you as the person he's waiting. He's just like, what did you say about me in that podcast, Sancho?
No.
What did you say? You said that
no,
you didn't see it. Do you see this as he's grating the cheese?
Ooh, just say when.
Say when.
I would have to wait till it's a mound of cheese.
The mountain of cheese that you cannot eat.
Oh my God. No, in our gimmick, you're gonna make Oba the waiter.
Dude, there's gonna be Olive Garden waiter Oba in the gimmicks in the comments section for sure.
Folks, just to give you an update, George R.R. Martin is currently defending his gimmick title. Should I give him to the end of the match? Because I have surprised Santi. In our Patreon thread, we have a championship for the comic session because we got to give these gimmicks something to do. We can't just let them run wild. Okay?
Yeah, you gotta concentrate their power.
We gotta rein them in. And I don't know. I'm concerned because George R.R. Martin has not commented yet. It's been almost an hour. He has defended his title. And currently in the lead is Booker T. I gotta pop my dick, man. He's in the lead right now. That's all he's saying. So this might be the biggest upset in the gimmick championship. You know,
I'm reading some of these, bro. Michael Hayes, I told you Chelsea wasn't championship material. Michael Jackson, George R. Martin ain't bad. He ain't nothing. Hee hoo. I like the gay J Styles, the straight community.
There's so many bad gimmicks. And you know what? The one that never gets the respect, the Bruno Sammartino of the gimmick world that we've created, kind of like the little moss in the corner of the refrigerator. When you zoom in, it's like this old utopia universe. Arbok, dude.
There's a Frozone. George, where's my winds of winter?
Sancho the Tank Engine. Dugga.
This is so stupid, man.
It's your fault. It is your fault. I don't know. No, it's Arbok's fault.
I mean, we acknowledged Arbok, and then
he deserves a Bucky statue outside of our comic section.
So, dude, there's Oba Femi in our comment section saying, "I don't know, man. I really don't see it with Sancho." Ho.
To be fair, not many did, but here I am 3 years later, still chugging along with you, Santi.
Cody and Randy. I mean, we talked there about Punk and KO. This is the parallel feud that's going on Friday Night SmackDown. Cody and Randy. I'll take this one since you took the lead on Punk and KO. I am willing to pretend that everything after the contract signing going into WrestleMania didn't happen. My brain has used the Men in Black neuralizer, and anything that happened after that contract signing has been forgotten. My brain believes that this segment was the follow-up of the contract signing when Randy turned heel and wiped Cody's blood on his chest. Can you believe that after that contract signing, they didn't have a single promo with each other? They didn't talk to each other once in the lead up to their match after the contract signing? Unbelievable how much this was fumbled on the way to WrestleMania. And I'm willing to forget all of that so long as we just pick up from where I think things left off, which is the contract signing. I thought this segment was great. I loved Cody's message too. Like, I don't have to be the good guy anymore. I'm not the guy that's holding the title. I'm not the guy representing the company, blah, 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 blah. I can be that bad guy.
Now.
He's a bad boy.
There's only one bad boy in the WWE universe. You know who it is?
Who?
Austin Theory.
Oh,
he's
God.
Jacked. He's tan. Come on.
Dog, he can be the Pope and I still wouldn't care. Like, there's nothing they can do.
He's the bad boy of the WWE. Did you enjoy that 2-segment Tozawa match? Huh? Talk
I like
about
Tozawa. Yeah, it was fine. I like the Austin Theory's finisher.
All right.
That
What's it
little
called?
elbow.
What's
I
it
don't know. It was an
called?
elbow. It was cool. I don't know what it's
Oh
called.
yeah, it was a forearm. It looked like
Yeah.
a hidden blade.
Yeah, almost like a hidden blade. Anyways, that's all the airtime Austin Theory is going to get on this episode. Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. Oh, would you prefer to talk about Austin Theory doing garbage than Cody and Randy putting on a great co-main event segment? Is that what you're saying?
At least he wrestled.
At least he wrestled. Sure. I love this segment. I love Randy going like, "Oh, you think I need your permission? He hit the classic. Do you know who I am? I'm Randy Orton, 14-time world champion. I don't need your permission to do anything. I don't need to ask for forgiveness for anything.
You wanted me at my best. Now you're going to see me at my worst.
You know what? What my kind of big takeaway from that promo was Randy's line of, "So long as I'm around, you're never going to touch that world title," which I think is going to be good for Friday Night SmackDown to not have Cody Rhodes in that championship picture for a while. Like, I hope, like, beyond WrestleMania, that's what we're dealing with in terms of Cody being out of the championship picture, because Cody's been chasing the title or been the champion for the past 2 years on Friday Night SmackDown. He needs to go do something else. And if Randy Orton is the excuse for that, then so be it.
Okay, so I leave you with this. Is Cody going to retire Randy?
He did say that, like, you know, when you look around, you're the last legend left. And Rey Mysterio's like, okay, I guess, fuck me, I suppose. People forget that I'm the general manager of AAA. People forget that I'm a legend. People forget that I've had surgery on my knees 5 times. Sancho, I do think he retires Randy.
Wow.
Who else? Like, realistically, like Gunther. No one wants to see that. Like, who else? There's no one else. It's Cody. Cody is the best person to retire Randy. And yes, okay, Randy is deep in his 40s now. And yeah, there's people that are wrestling far beyond him, but the people that are wrestling far beyond Randy, like CM Punk and Brock Lesnar did and John Cena did, none of those guys had as damaging of a structural injury and invasive of a surgery as Randy Orton had. I don't think it's crazy to think that we're seeing the sunset of Randy Orton's career here within the next year and a half. With, you know, he had that mega invasive surgery. He is on the older side. He is rich. He's accomplished everything. What else is there for him to do, really? He ain't going to pass John Cena. They're not going to let him do that after what they just ran with John Cena and the whole retirement tour. That 18 is going to last for 50 plus years, I firmly believe. What else is there for Randy to do, if not culminate his feud with Cody Rhodes and eventually be retired by Cody Rhodes? He's the best person to retire Randy.
I think that's their next emotional match that's on the table. I mean, Brock Lesnar surprisingly got emotional at WrestleMania in terms of how it hit the feels. And when you look at the landscape, I don't think there's any other one besides probably Dom and Ray that will hit that level of Ric Flair, I love you type of moment with Shawn Michaels type of thing. I don't think we're ever going to get there except with those 2 matches on the table. Unless Rhea retires early because of the injuries, but Bianca has to retire because of her finger injury. Maybe Charlotte, if Charlotte could get to 18, I don't think we're going to ever reach that peak of emotion unless Rollins retires too. So I think that's the next big mega emotional moment. And then you know who's going to be in the background? Jelly Roll. Hey, man, Randy, that's okay, brother. There is laugh after wrestling. Come on, man. Does he talk like that a little bit? Hey, man, my name's Jelly Roll, man.
Yeah,
right?
a little
He
bit.
talks like that a little.
Yeah, he kind of talks like that.
Yeah.
Sarah just is walking behind the camera trying to make me laugh at it fucking work. God damn it. You know the aliens from Scary Movie 3 where they just they just walk across the camera? She did the Scary Movie 3 aliens walk, and I was trying to not break, and it broke me mid-podcast.
She loves you, Santi. You're in love. Funny enough, I haven't got the invitation yet, but that's cool. You don't have to invite me anyway. I don't want to go anyway because I'm going to cash in on her ass. That's right, brother. I'm cashing in. Anyone have an objective? I do. Cash it in right here.
Are you sure? Are you sure you want to cash it? Are you sure? Are you sure right here at this very moment you want to cash it in?
You're not gonna have one of those little moments during your wedding? Some kind of wrestling guys come out and wrestle and do a spot on the table?
Mm-mm.
Hey, you're not a real fan. You're not a
Dude,
real ride or die wrestling fan.
Dude, like this was also supposed to be a not wedding, and then it became a small wedding, and it's annoying because it was supposed to be nothing. It was supposed to be, let's put all the money towards the honeymoon, and then you know what happened, Sancho? And then now we had to put money towards the wedding, and then also the same amount of money on the honeymoon. It's not like, oh, we took money from the honeymoon to the nope. It's just more money. It's more money.
You guys should get matching titles with the white strap. That'd be sick. Come on.
I don't want anything wrestling related.
You're a fake fan. Boo. Boo.
I don't know, man. I think it's corny to come out to Roman Reigns' theme at your wedding.
Fake ass fan. Boo.
I'd rather come out to like a violin version of Gangster's Paradise.
Not that.
Oh, a little Shinsuke Nakamura. How about that? Violins of Shinsuke. Dude, Shinsuke's coming back. You see Shinsuke's just randomly coming back. Do you put any weight behind that?
Come on in, Shinsuke. What kind of faction you have that we're gonna see bi-weekly? Why not? If it gives MFT some burn, I just wish we got MFTs a match before they triple threat. If you're gonna give me Haku, brother, give me Haku every week. Come on now. Give me Haku every week with that big long staff, that extra long staff, that makes Gandalf weep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because Haku wasn't on this episode, right?
No.
Yeah, neither of the MFTs. Yeah, they weren't on that episode. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. Weird. Why not? Why give them their first match with Haku in that triple threat? That's their first outing, which tells me that they're gonna win.
Yeah, especially because they didn't make it for both titles.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty clear. I think they're going to win. And they probably should. I think Haku does kind of make them watchable, interesting. Haku is I don't know, man. He imagine dating a girl and Haku's their dad.
Yeah.
That'd be horrific, horrifying. Mm-hmm. They'd give you a curfew. You show up 20 minutes before that curfew ends, because Haku is the dad. Yeah, you just you know what, sir? I respect you so much that I'm gonna just break up with your daughter.
That's what I like about Haku being added, and that's what I meant when I said that when he first got added on the pod. I was like, you have money. Buy some legends back. I mean, it just adds a little bit of something. You don't have to make them like Ric Flair in TNA or Hogan in TNA where they just take over segments, but they add a little bit to the legitimacy of Tama Tonga and Tala Tonga. And then he gives that intensity to them that they're lacking. And it's just a good faction. And it's like, that's the kind of valet or manager you need. You don't need a Solo because he's too charismatic, right? You need something that's just one note, perfect note, hit it. Get in, get out, walk out with that big staff, add some legitimacy. It's not like on the level of Authors in Pain and what was that name? The guy
Paul Ellering.
Yeah, I mean, they were trying to lean into the LOD type of thing back in the past, but that guy doesn't have the ties like Haku has to his own sons. That's a little different.
Yeah,
I think if Rikishi could travel, he would be out there with his family. I think it would add so much more if Rikishi could travel and be there for Solo and be there for Jimmy and Jay and be there for Roman. Because that would, dude, imagine if they, because one thing we didn't call out when Solo was being his babyface this last Monday night, he was doing Rikishi moves. Did you notice?
I did. He did a little thigh slap. And then he did the sit down, the bonsai sit down that Rikishi did, and he did it with force. It looked nasty.
And he did Yokozuna's wheel kick.
Yeah,
he had that little. Because I was watching that match, I was like, dude, if you're gonna make Solo a babyface, give him some more moves. And then all of a sudden, he started doing those moves. So I'm interested to see, that's what I mean. When you add a legacy member in the right spot, a legend in the right spot, you can make something happen. So that means if there's other legends on SmackDown, Cody's gonna go after Haku. The new legend killer.
The new legend killer. Let's talk about Chelsea Green now, my friend. We have a confirmed broken orbital bone.
Yes.
The last time that we had a champion with an orbital bone, I believe it was Rhea Ripley, but hers was fractured. And I don't know if there's a difference between broken and fractured. You know, believe it or not, I'm not a doctor. I'm a host of Wrestling is Cool. Coolest wrestling podcast on the planet.
One's a crack and the other one's broken.
I mean, but like, aren't cracks broken?
Yeah, but one's like bones are separated, like broken.
Okay. All right. Sancho apparently is a doctor. All right.
Just Google it, you moron.
Sancho, you know what? I am a doctor. I diagnose you as a bitch. That's what I diagnose you as.
That was a good one. I can't come back with that. Broken and fractured. Hold on. There's no medical difference between broken and break and fracture. They are exact synonyms. You said it wrong. Describe it.
No, I didn't.
I'm just with you. Describing a crack, snap, or separation in a bone. The word fracture is a formal medical term used by doctors, while break is commonly used for everyday life.
Got it.
They're one and the same.
Okay, so
just
one
like
in the
RVD.
Same. What? Oh, because he's one of a kind?
Yes.
I hate that I was able to connect your dots of your stupid brain.
You are a doctor of me.
What can I say? Dude, what a bummer. They better not make her vacate, right? I mean, if they're gonna make somebody vacate, it would be Chelsea Green, which is just so demoralizing. But I was bringing up the last time that we had somebody with an orbital bone break like this was Rhea Ripley, and I looked it up. She was gone from TV for 3 weeks and gone from in-ring action for 31 days. And then she came back with the mask. And I believe her match when she returned was Survivor Series War Games. I think. I might be wrong.
Or a week before that. Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. My concern here is that if it is gone for 3-4 weeks, that's a pretty long time to not have your champion when you already don't have your champion there. And with an interim championship, and when it's held by Chelsea Green, I feel like they'll be more willing to be hot potato-y with it and say, nope, you just have to relinquish the title and we're just going to crown a new champion because it's an interim championship anyway. But then also at the same time, there's news that Rhea Ripley just had knee surgery and is going to be gone until at least the Rumble. And they still have her listed as the WWE Women's Champion. They can't in good conscience have Chelsea vacate and let Rhea keep it, right? That wouldn't make any sense at all whatsoever. None. What say you? What do you think is going to happen here?
The simplest thing will be to do a battle royal and keep it as an interim champion for sure, right? I think at this point, I don't think you could spend more time on this story. I think you just have to hot potato it to somebody else. And I don't want another tournament where I got another tournament on the other side. We just went through another tournament type of thing or a stipulation to get to a big match. I think you just do a big battle royal and then just see where it lands. Get Blake, dude, it'd be perfect for Blake Monroe now. Like now more than ever. She already has enemies in the locker room, right? She already beat up a couple of people. Just give her the title. See what they can do with it. It's unfortunate what happened in Chelsea. I called it out on the Wrestling is Cool Patreon. I gave you a frame by frame breakdown, be like, this is where it happened. Because I was watching the watch party. I was like, yeah, dude, Laney Reed landed right on her face.
Yeah, that was rough.
That finish. Like,
I gave you a shout out in my last video. I'm like, yeah, I did. I was like, because it's my news video. And I said, as per Sancho West, if we go over to his Twitter, you can see he actually got the exact moment where Laney Reed landed on her face.
I noticed it right away because the reason why I was like, this is wrong because one, the referee was super protective.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the doctor, the SummerSlam doctor who stapled Finn Balor.
Yeah.
She ran immediately to the ring and then they stopped showing Chelsea, which you always want that shot, right? The champion holding the belt over, and they were kind of hesitant to show it. Bummer overall, but I think the WWE is in danger of killing this division if they don't if they don't build a star here for Rhea to overcome, because that's the end goal. And I thought Chelsea would have had that moment to be that person to get built up for a heel to beat her at the last second, and then Rhea and the heel would go at it.
Yeah, so, you and I are in the same thought process. When people were like, oh, can't wait for Rhea Hogan to come back to take the moment from Chelsea. I'm like, you're crazy if you think that they're going to have Rhea do that. Chelsea is too beloved right now. Hell, they freaking took the title off of Trick Williams so that Carmelo could potentially win it off of not a babyface, right? They're afraid of babyfaces beating babyfaces because it could backfire. It would be such a bad look for Rhea Ripley to come back as a babyface to beat another beloved babyface for the championship, a beloved babyface that people have been wanting to see be at the top of the mountain for a really long time. 1,000,000% Chelsea Green is losing this to a big bad heel, and that's when Rhea Ripley comes in. But obviously now we're looking at the Rumble for Rhea Ripley to come back.
It's not Nia. I know people were thinking like, oh my God, not Nia. But I think Nia holding the title was a pivot to whatever was happening.
It could be heel Tiffy.
My complaint about that SmackDown, and I said this in the review, is that they shoved all the women's division in one segment. It's like, why did we do the United States, the champion title, and the tag team titles in one segment? Why? You could have had 2 matches out of that, and that would have made me not write the 3-match tweet. JC Jane, sure. I mean, there's heel Tiffy, but she already has United States. Again, you're killing the mid card then at that moment. There's no option. If all the players already been on the board, the only option to me would be bringing a new player to put the title on her. You could have a Blake Monroe, right? Let's say Blake Monroe is the title holder. You could bring in Lola Vice to be someone who could go after her. You could bring in so many different people to go for it. If you had a battle royal with Lola Vice, Julia, Kiana James, Tiffy, Fatal Influence, Lash, and Nia, and then Jade and the Baddies, and Blake Monroe, that's like about 11 or 12. I think that'd be a fine battle royal. That would kind of be like...
Who would you have win?
I would have Blake Monroe, or I would have Blake Monroe get to the final 4, maybe the final 2, and have Charlotte in there, of course, and Tatum Paxley's there too, right? So you have a lot of women on that SmackDown roster that you could feature, but I think the easiest answer would be Blake, because you can't give it to Jade, because then that hot starts Jade and Charlotte, and I don't think they're willing to do that right now. You can't give it to Tatum Paxley. She just showed up. You can't give it to Alexa, because Alexa doesn't feel like the main focal point. She feels like a side character to whatever was happening. And I don't think can't give it to Charlotte, because that would be a weird way to give Charlotte her is it officially 16th title?
Something like that.
Right? Yeah. Would it be the official 16 if it's interim? Like, what are we...
You know what's interesting? That like fans like me and you and so many people listen to this have so much reverence for Blake Monroe that we're willing to jump to like, yep, just make her the champion.
I'm desperate.
Even though she doesn't get any TV time, but like I'm with you. That's the thing. I'm not disagreeing, but that just goes to show how much cachet that name still carries. So much stock is still there that they're just not using. That dude, I'm like, yep, just give her Money in the Bank. Boom. Yep, just make her world champion. Boom, on her debut. Why not? That's how much people like Blake Monroe, but yeah, they still won't feature her. And then there's other names too, man, like Blake, Julia, Jordan Grace. Like the SmackDown is just a wealth of riches, a war chest of people that they are not using. And apparently there's another one coming up. Lola Vice. We just had Tatum Paxley. By the way, if you don't know much about Tatum Paxley, let me sell her on. Let me sell you on Tatum Paxley.
Sell it to me.
I think that Tatum Paxley is the most complete NXT call-up maybe ever.
Ever? Including Roxy in there and Raquel in there?
Yep. I think that she is the most balanced in-ring performer. She was one of the better women's performers in ring during her time in NXT. And that is... I think she's better than Sol Ruca in ring. I think from NXT, the only person during her time of NXT that I could say was a better in-ring performer was maybe Stephanie Vaquer and now Kendall Gray. And to say that you're one of the best women's performers in NXT recently is a massive, massive vote of confidence, because that roster is stacked. So she is a great in-ring performer. She is NXT's, from the women's side of things and the men's side of things, the best recent character worker that NXT has had. I can't think of a better one than Tatum Paxley, being able to play that character and dive into it. And the beauty is, Sancho, she's able to play that character as a heel and as a babyface. And it doesn't change a heck of a whole lot. And I think that takes a tremendous amount of skill to be able to do that. And then she is fantastic on the microphone. One of the best recent NXT call-ups that I've heard on the stick. She is all around like a triple threat trifecta. She brings so much to the table. One of the best all around, like well-rounded NXT call-ups that I've seen in a long, long time. Like, I think the last person that I could say that, like, you know, had that same trifecta down, like Kevin Owens.
So how do you feel about Charlotte and Alexa teaming up with her?
I think it's, so I said this in my hot takes. I said Raw needed her more, but had they deployed her on Raw, she probably would have just not been used very well if she was by herself. I think on SmackDown, they don't need her. They already had such a bloated roster from the women's side. But she's going to get to stand on the shoulders of giants, getting to have backstage segments and promos and matches alongside Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair is going to be big. I think it's going to do wonders in terms of having the casual eye that's never seen Tatum Paxley immediately pay attention, and it's going to demand your attention. Meanwhile, if she was by herself on Monday Night Raw, it would have been like a slow, gradual build of like, okay, let me see what this character's got to offer. But I think working alongside those two, you're going to be paying attention day one. And I think what you're going to see is one of the most well-rounded NXT call-ups ever.
So my question for you, because I like playing the audience as well.
Sure.
What is her character?
Her character is a misfit toy. She, in like NXT, what's that?
Like the doll Alexa carries.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. That's why I think it kind of represented that. She is a character that in NXT wanted friends. And in many regards, a lot of heels would take advantage of that and pretend to be her friends, only for the classic, we were never friends. And then they feud off of that. She's kind of like the crazy girl a little bit, and she plays it incredibly well. But she is like a vulnerable character that, when taken advantage of and realizes she's being taken advantage of, explodes. And it works on both the babyface end and the heel end.
If you had to put two wrestlers together, what would you put together? Because wasn't she she did stuff with Shiloh too?
She did a little, yeah. She did a little bit of like fun hijinks with Shiloh. Yeah.
But if you had to put two wrestlers together, like including men, like even Mankind, or like, who would you smash together to give me like what to expect? Because if I was putting together Ethan Page, I would say you get a little Jerry the King.
I hear you.
Perfect. You get
I think you hit it right with Boiler Room Mankind.
Okay.
you know, like kind of like having like those promos, like covering his face, like angry at himself, which makes him angry at the world. But you kind of like feel for him, kind of like this monster, like, I think you just need a hug kind of deal. But then you go to hug him and then he shoves his sock down your mouth. So it's very, I think it's, I think it gives vibes of that Mankind. But I also think that it's a much better version of Alexa Bliss when she was with Bray Wyatt as well.
Okay. By the way, that was probably one of my most favorite looks of her, when she had that black makeup like cover here, and it was like smearing going down, and she had that crown type of thing.
Yeah,
the little demonic for the WWE. Yeah, a little bit. Oh yeah, the black goo.
Yeah,
and then you had Seth Rollins coming out there stomping a thing 15 times. Can you imagine that in a Scary Movie, dude? The guy is curb stomping the monster over and over and over and over and over. Hey, by the way, Randy Orton set that thing on fire, dude.
We did.
Remember that?
Remember that? Yeah, he also burned down Bray Wyatt's cabin. He did a lot of bad things to Bray. Now that I think about it.
You're gonna burn down Cody's house?
Oh, that's dude.
Crazy.
Oh, man. Yeah, that'd be wild.
Are you gonna get another Randy Orton visiting the Firefly house type of thing?
That to me is one of the funniest. Yeah, he burnt down the cabin, and then he freaking does his pose in front of the burning house.
Love it. Man. You gotta love it. Are you excited? Speaking of new call-ups or new prospects, are you excited about AJ Styles' boy, his son?
Oh no, until he starts setting up the ring and folding chairs. Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
Listen, I'm not a wrestler, so I don't understand. So I'm not a part of the boys culture and wrestling
Yeah.
culture. But if I'm paid to do X, I'm doing X. I'm not going to do Y and Z for you unless you're paying me to do Y or Z. If this kid's getting paid to wrestle, why is there an expectation that he has to set up the ring and do all this other stuff? It's an indie show. It's not his wrestling school. The wrestling school, sure, yeah, you gotta be the Padawan. You gotta put up, do all the annoying grunt work. But if it's an indie show, you're being paid to be there. It's a job, dude. I mean, I side with AJ on there, which is like, yeah, like he's not paid to set up your indie ring. I'm sorry. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just in the wrong.
All right. For those of you who don't know, someone's wrote, as someone who watched this kid skirt away from helping with a single thing at this very show, I like to say LOL, right? Because Natty says in an interview, Avery Styles, with his son, was able to go to GCW yesterday and watch Avery Styles and one of our dungeon students, Marcus Mathers, wrestle. And they blew me away. They blew me away. They were so young and they had so much presence. And she would go on to say, I went up to Avery Styles and Marcus Mathers because Marcus really trained with us in the dungeon. I was like, man, Avery, I would love to get you in the dungeon because I just love this passion. I could feel his passion pouring through his soul. I love the match very much. And Avery said, it showed me that you're, I said this to Avery, Daddy. It showed me that you're willing to pay your dues and you're not just going to come into the industry as AJ Styles' son and that has been pampered and coddled and he wants to earn it. He wants to pay his dues. And I love that. And the guy then replied as someone who watched his kid skirt away from helping with a single thing at the show, LOL. And then AJ tweeted, he was paid to wrestle at GCW, not help you put up and take down the ring. That sounds like your job. You sound like a jealous douche.
I'm sorry. I agree with that. First of all, GCW ain't a tiny indie. You know, like if it was like if it was your local, hey, you know, it's our wrestling school putting on a local show for 20 people. Okay, maybe. And if you're part of the, you know, you train under that local indie program in school. But GCW is big. What the fuck do you mean you're just getting shit up? You got paid to be there to perform, to be a wrestler.
The guy said, I have all respect in the world for you, AJ. I understand why you defend your son is admirable. The fact remains he can still stay AJ's kid, continue to skirt responsibility and pay his dues, or he can respect of his peers and stand on his own as Avery. And then AJ goes, you don't ask someone to have dinner at your house and have them do the dishes. He was asked to wrestle at GCW. Grateful for the opportunity. A vet would have talked to him professionally or at least face to face.
Am I the bad guy? I agree with AJ here.
Of course you do. But dude, I'm surprised. Avery Styles almost like murdered himself. He did a shooting star press off the apron and almost missed. He almost Brock Lesnar'd himself on that.
How young is Avery Styles?
I don't know, but it is. You can look that up. But it is interesting,
19.
like seeing 19. Damn, seeing the son of Avery Styles, AJ, the son of Sting. Like,
oh, that's right, yeah.
Son of Sting. I would say Sting's son is much more green right now than Avery. Because I've watched, I think his name is Steve Borden or something. He is very green. But you're seeing more and more. We're still waiting for Zilla to show up. Everyone's sitting on that. But the new generation is showing up very, very soon. Dude, imagine a match between Avery Styles and Oba. If it ever gets to that point, it'd be kind of crazy. I mean, it'd be kind of crazy because by then Oba would be main event status, like huge, big time. But that's the thing about wrestling, man. Not necessarily the nepotism of it, but the traditions and the histories. It keeps coming in and showing up because Jey Uso goes, it wasn't until Solo was 19, or was Solo was late in his career, right, that he wanted to start to wrestle, and they let him wrestle. I think Dominic Mysterio, I think that's what I'm getting mixed up. Dominic's mom said he wanted to wrestle at 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So it finally clicked for him that he could do that. But The Rock, like a lot of legends are from nepotism, and I'm excited to see what Avery can do. But it's an interesting tiff that the internet kind of latched onto, and it's just fun to see AJ. AJ's been in weird conversations ever since he left WWE. Now that he has a podcast, he's learning that everything you say will be picked up and nitpicked by everybody.
Did you say that he said he'd be willing to come out of retirement if Avery gets onto a big show for a big promotion? He'd be willing to do a tag team match with him, but he did say, I'm not going to do an indie match with him. He said that, like, if Avery can get onto a major show, he said major show. So my assumption is TNA, WWE, AEW, or New Japan. I think those are the only four that he'd be willing to come out of retirement for, to have a match with his son. My guess is, with how much praise he's already getting from Natalya, which I think Natalya is becoming a bit of the gatekeeper as well for the new generation, with all of the training that she does in the dungeon, which I think is great. I think that she is a wealth of knowledge to be able to bring in that next generation. But if you're already getting the vouch from Natalya, you get a little bit of the Nepo baby help from being AJ Styles' kid. I think this kid's probably bound for the WWE Performance Center or the ID program sometime soon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Speaking of legends, from the breaking news desk of Ryback.
Oh, of course. From the breaking news table that still has meat on it.
The matches that hurt the most, the old Elimination Chamber has to be near the top of the list. I had my Intercontinental Championship win inside the Chamber match, and the thing used to have graded steel flooring. Dude, he takes some crazy bumps out there. And I absolutely had zero give. Beyond dangerous, that every bump on the steel has something for you to feel. From what I understand, WWE made significant improvements to the Chamber after the years. But I'm telling you, the old Chamber match will probably go down as the number one for a lot of pro wrestlers who experienced it firsthand. The steel was no joke, and that's the last bite. Feed me more.
God damn it!
You can see that on Patreon, by the way. Both times.
Yeah, you've had to watch it twice.
And I have to watch the Royal Rumble again. I forgot that I haven't ranked the newest Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah, you gotta update the series. You do.
And just in case your boy John Cena comes out of retirement, we got to update that list.
Well, no, because my list is championship matches. I doubt he's going to come out.
Oh, you don't think he's going to get a championship match if he came back?
That's fair. Actually, he probably would. He'd
be the Charlotte Flair.
All right. Shall we do new heat order here?
Don't leave. Don't leave.
We saw you.
Get here, we saw you. We saw you leaving, about to swipe up to your next Doom Squirrel. Congratulations to I Gotta Pop My Dick, man. You are the winner of the Gimmick Championship. You have unseated George R.R. Martin, who had failed to show up to defend his own title just as much as he failed to write The Winds of Winterfell.
Good for you. I've got to pop my dick, man, for winning Gimmick of the Week.
Do you have a paper and pen? I don't have any.
Sancho, it feels to me like you are slow. You have quiet quit the job. You've quit the job of new heat order arbiter.
I haven't. You got, look. You're so organized. Look, you got little shelves. You got paper. What is all that? It looks like a bunch of loose napkins or something.
Those are my receipts from the work expenses.
You got all those receipts?
You gotta keep receipts, brother. Should be keeping receipts just in case they come after you. Yeah. Knock on wood. Knock on Brock Lesnar's exposed wood.
That should have been a clip. That was a worthy clip, I think.
Oh, the exposed wood. All right, new heat order.
The excitement, all the things that we want to see that makes us tune in next week on weekly television. So, number one rule is you have to be on television. Goose Lesnar in our comments on Patreon has been keeping up with the list. Number 11 is Danhausen. Always will be Danhausen. Danhausen hasn't been on TV. What are they doing, Danhausen? We don't know. I think the WWE is too scared to do anything with Danhausen now. They got called out, and now they're scared.
They're gonna wait till NFL season to do something with them.
Really?
To do some crossovers.
United States title?
Oh no, not that deep.
I was
saying just more appearances on ESPN.
He uncursed the Dallas Cowboys, baby. Let's go.
There's no
baby.
uncursing that, brother. There's no uncursing that.
Baby. You did it.
All right, number one, what? Kevin Owens?
Sure.
Okay.
I would say 1, Kevin, 2, Punk,
I'd go 2 solo.
Okay. 2 solo, 3 Punk, 4 Cody, 5 Randy, in my opinion.
6 Tatum with her debut.
I'll give you that one because I'm the reason why I'm hesitant because there's just no freaking room on that roster.
Yeah.
And Jordan and Julia and Blake are not even doing, and Kiana are not even doing anything right now.
Fair.
I could see Tatum and Alexa tag teaming because what's the Fatal Influence going to do? Because isn't the tag team supposed to be hot-potatoing between both shows? Fatal Influence should be on SmackDown too. Come on.
Okay.
And the thief of the night.
You're so bad at singing that.
So we're at 6. We're at 7.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What are you feeling?
I kind of want to put LA Knight on this list, even though he didn't wrestle.
He didn't do much this week.
I like him saying, like, well, what the hell? Do I need to be an intern? He pulled out the luchador mask. Let's see. Who did something this week? Penta?
A great match with Laredo Kid.
I love Laredo Kid. I hate that they made him a heel, though.
Let me put Penta at 10.
Laredo Kid got no pops because they made him a heel. I don't know why. I know he's a heel at AAA, but he did some crazy moves. Yeah, the frog splash moonsault.
Yeah, that was insane. And then friggin' the like triple axel freaking moonsault that he did up to when he lost the match.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like, oh, he's gonna land on his back, and then he lands on his face out of nowhere.
Yeah, awesome, crazy, dude. I said this about Laredo Kid is he treats every match outside of AAA like when he gets in front of like even like the smallest of main roster audiences, he treats it like it's freaking Super Bowl. Dude goes all out.
It's that Laredo spirit, homie.
All right.
My hometown.
Penta at 10. Maybe you feeling Stephanie or Becky here? No? Okay. Well, Big Cass.
Big Cass. The rated 7-footer superstar.
Okay, I'll put him at 9. I think it's so funny that Corey Graves just talks so much shit.
Doesn't say a word.
Well, on this last one, he was negative about Cass, which is like, you're always positive on the heels. What's changed? I wonder. All right, I'll do Big Cass at 9.
The goal for the WWE be like, I don't care, we're making money. You two sort it out. It's insane for something that serious to be like, figure it out. Like, Jesus Christ, there's no soul between you two. Forgive me, Lord, for using your name, but that
7, 8.
Isn't Corey? Didn't they say Corey could go in the ring if he wanted to?
I mean, he took that F5 from Brock, so I think so.
Yeah.
So if he's taking F5s, then yeah, I gotta imagine it's fair game.
Would you take an F5?
Hell to the fucking no.
Where would you know that you're in trouble? When you're on his shoulders and you felt how strong he is?
I think as he is putting his arm where it needs to touch my crotch to get underneath me. As soon as bicep makes contact with crotch, I'm like, I'm cooked. Yeah, at that point.
It wouldn't be when you're in midair spinning uncontrollably. Because it's funny. Because I was watching that 2002, like I mentioned, that SmackDown that I put, and the match gets interrupted by who? The Un-Americans versus Hogan and Rock. Who interrupts that match?
Sorry, which show are you talking about?
The SmackDown 2002. I just said his name. Who interrupts Hogan, Rock?
Lesnar.
And who does he F5?
Does he F5?
Hogan,
right? Yeah.
And the way Hogan just lands, like, oh, he got me real good, brother. It's just like a sickening thud on the side of his head. And like, damn, that's a big dude to do F5 to.
Yeah, so. Man, like a week or two later, they run then Hogan versus Lesnar, and then Hogan makes him pass out to a bear hug and is like bleeding and then licks his blood. It's nasty. That 02 Lesnar was on something else, bro.
Wait, Hogan passes out a bear hug from
Brock.
That'd be sick if Oba did that. That'd be sick.
Yeah, dude. He makes Hogan just completely pass out in a pool of his own blood. It's sick. And that's just on a random SmackDown.
See what I'm talking about?
That was on a SmackDown.
I'm gonna tease this real quick. I do believe my next series, I thought about this, is just watching the 2002 year of SmackDown.
Oh, it's so good. 02 SmackDown.
It's available.
It's
available, and I think like it's pretty, like it's an hour. It's a good chunk, but there are some weird segments.
Well, yeah, that's par for the course.
There was one where a match between the Dudleys. It's the first match of 2002. The Dudleys are facing Spike Dudley, and who else is the fourth person? There's another fourth person. Forgive me, I don't know who it was. But during the match, Spike Dudley pulled down the pants of Stacy Keibler, and then Jerry the King goes, "Those are the pennies I bought Stacy Keibler for Christmas." You're just like,
ugh, yikes.
Yikers,
Welcome
brother.
to a different era. A different era. We need 7 and 8.
Okay, 7 and 8. Any love for Jay? I mean, Jay.
Actually,
Jay,
yeah.
You know what I mean? He won. He won the if Jay Uso wins, Jay Uso delivers Solo Sikoa to Roman match.
I like it. Yeah, Jey Uso.
I know he gets mocked, but the only reason why it's funny because he's so intense with his "this is your warning shot," and then when Solo goes, "Whoa, is everybody okay?"
What about Sami Zayn for 8? No.
No.
Okay. Oba?
Any love?
Maybe Braun Breaker. I'm more interested in right now. His whole little journey of trying to figure out who he is. I'll put Braun Breaker here.
The forgotten, the black sheep son. Yeah, kind of vibe with that. Like, why don't you love me, Dad?
All right. Well, here is the list, ladies and gentlemen, and it's
Backwards,
reversed.
but,
Oops.
okay.
So I'm just going to read it. 1, Kevin Owens. Number 2, Solo Sikoa. Number 3, CM Punk. Number 4, Cody Rhodes. Number 5, Randy Orton. Number 6, Tatum Paxley. Number 7, Jey Uso. Yeet. Number 8, Braun Breaker. Number 9, Big Cass. And at number 10, we have Penta. You feel good about that list?
All right. Yeah, brother.
Well, let's bring it home, folks. Thank you guys very much for watching and listening to this episode of the Wrestling is Cool podcast. You already know, the coolest wrestling podcast on the planet. A huge extra big smooch goes to our $15 patrons. They are the producers of the show. What?
According to the Rolling Stone, The Rock says he's exploring a career in music.
Oh, no.
Just come home, Papa.
Your dog, what are you doing? Stop these side quests. Just be the final boss. Just be the final boss, dog. All right.
I don't know, dude. It's about drive. It's about power. I stay hungry. I devour.
Solo Dolo deserves justice more than Sammy. Toasty, Ayo Salguero, acknowledge the pressure. Active D4C, Adam Freeburn, Aiden Fortner, Abreem Zuda, Alex Regal, Alex Brewer, American Nightmare, Cody Chode, Antonius, Antony, Erics, Ariel Pacheco, Arrogance, Arturo Gonzalez, Ashley Reinl, Ozzy Kingslayer, Alwyn Dargan, Baldy, Be Hostile, Big Cab, Blenda, Bluefish, Booker T, Braden Primo, Brand the Broken Hogan. Is that Bran from Game of Thrones is Hogan? It is. It's that's ridiculous. Brody Cyphers, Bubba the Big Fella, Bunny Swag, Cameron Warren, Cameron Talks WWE, Captain Jack Sparrow, Carlito, CB, Chad Chicken, Chris Butner, Lucas, Christian Anderson, Chuck and Gonzalez, Clayton Warford, COD Podcast, Coke Bottle, Colby Mayo, Daily Vloggers, Daily Ixquick Fan Vlogs, Damian Martinez, Dan Schuberth, Darth Squiggles, Darth Taters, Def Rebels, #1 Spotify listener, D. Lopez, Dr. Doom, Dominic DeCoco, Dr. Johnny Sins, Drake Hughley, Dylan, Eagle Steve, El Juan de Americano, Elmer Rodriguez, Elvis DePresley, Erdem Yasushi, Eric Reese Romero, Ethan Richardson, Isach, But Wait, Desmo, Fletcher Walpole, FMFCMA, Frenzy Wrestling, Freezer, Garlic Butter Sushi, Gavin Talks WWE, George R. Martin, Give You the Pressure Fresher.
Oh, the former champion.
The former champ. Gilbert Deans,
show up.
Goonhausen, Goose Lesnar, guy that spells out, I'm not going to read your full fucking name, dude. It's like 5 sentences. Change your name. GXA Man, Heath Robertson, Henry Volpole, Hey Shakes, Home Meowner, House of Reapers, Elia Dragonuts, Ill Magic, Iron Man, Isaac Clark. Issa says, I dream of Sancho in bed with me. It's Mista, It's Astro Kid, Jack Ghibli, Jack Harris, Jackson Key, Jacob Saffel, Jassiu, Javion McDuffie, Jeremiah Alston, Jeremiah Finley, Jahihi Ahihi, Joe Benitez, Joe Exotic, Joey Romig, John Cena Rap Lyrics, John Hartnett, Jonathan Cox, Johnny Owens, Jordan, Jose Olivares, Juan Vega, Juliana Sarfi, Julian Wainwright, Justin Perkins, Caleb Martin, Kevin Vega, Kevin Clark, Kilo, Cody Barker, Lawrence Richard, Let Me Job For Ya, yeah. Liam, Life of Brian, Lil Shifu, Look It's Pac-Man, Wepa, Lucky, Luis Jimenez, Luke Star Gaming, Madison Moody, Majed, Manny Benegas, Mark, Marnie Wine, CSM, Melisandra, MF, motherfucker, I'm reviewing it, Micah Davis, Michael Murnane, Miguel Paredes, Muhammad Albanai, Mr. Club WWE, Mug Root Beer Bulldog. Nate Finley, Nemo, N Frenzy, Nicholas Protopapis, Nicholas M. Deskovich, Nico Vance Refrigeration.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's a running joke. There's a NXT guy named Nico Vance. So I'm like, every time I'm like, is that Nico Vance? Vance Refrigeration. I've been doing it for like 2 years. NyQuil Pad, Odin Sword, Oliver Hammonds, Oscar M's, Pat R, Pat Mick, Mark, Patrick Star, Poker, Prince Vegeta, Prone, Johnny Gargano, Qui-Gon, Wyatt, The Living Prophet, Raiders for Life, Randomly Chosen, Rainier Neko, Reaper God, Rey Mysterio, AAA Commentator, Ricky Dutcher, Rose City Savage, Roy Alexander, Ryan Halberg, Ryan Muniz, Ryback, Sadie Brink, Sammy's Water Bottle, Go Wee, Sancho, call me a beggar with the hard heart. Sancho's a baddie with a fatty. Santi, you saved my life in 2024. Sauce God, Savage Field, Ska Rico Gaming, Seth Frickin' Rollins, Shane, Sean, Sheldon Hickman, Shitstain Nakamura, Sick Batman. Okay, I'm never reading that name ever again. Sky Slayer, Stay True, Sugar Shane, Super Malachi Galaxy, Tai Lung, Teddy Long, SmackDown GM. That's why we do what we do with Triple H as the photo. The Patriots own the Chargers. Tickets guy, the tickets please guy. Vanilla Jorilla, The Winds of Winter, The LA Knight, Mega Glazer, Jacob Kufis, The Final Boss, Bloodline Rules. Tom Dodd, Trevor Harder, Tristan Repko, Turner Dahl, Tycho, Tyler Brand, Tyler Logan, Tyler McGarry, unknown. Use code Sancho West to steal money from charity. Utah Beach, Vegan Man, or Vega Man, Vegeta 2522, Venom D Tyler, Verzo Voici, Juan Pablo III, Wayne Heiser, White Mexican. Why does Sancho play elevator music in WM reviews? X Mira, Yo Girl Side, York V2, Zach Holdwick, Zay2K, Hot Take Hank, and the man Becky Lynch. Thank you guys very much for watching and or listening to this episode of the Wrestling is Cool podcast. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and be wonderful people. Goodbye, everybody.